Let the girl dance.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollett.
Welcome back to a brand new idea for slot rods.
We're calling this the SLOTRODS Underground.
This will be our first ever multi-event points championship, taking place over 3 months of winter in a little bar somewhere in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
We're going to take 24 of our fastest cars and a few late entries and race them for 3 nights for a total of 9 rounds.
Each driver gets 2 points for crossing start under power, 1 point for crossing finish in your own lane, 5 points for the win, making it a max total of 8 points per round.
Well, buddy, all that's left to do now is hit the light and drop the hammers. Let's get started. Round 1, race 1 is the 55 Nomad called Valentine.
Ooh, looks like Valentine got a new look.
Yes, she does. Versus one of our newest members, Mark Rendos in Golgotha.
Yeah, looks like Valentine got off the line first.
And looks like Valentine held him off all the way to the finish line.
And that, folks, gives Val her first win.
Round 1, race 2 is Tim Clark in the red 68 Camaro called Red Reaper versus Michael Mack in the 41 Ford called Bootleg.
Geez, looks like the Reaper got a little loose in the rear end.
Yeah, his booty was bumping both sides of the lane.
Yeah, watch this slow motion shot. Reaper gets up on his back wheels and rides a wheelie the whole way to the end.
This one was so close we had to pull a still photo of the finish, and we'd have to call this Red Reaper by a bumper.
Round 1, race 3, we got Kel's Corvair versus the Wrecker. Wow, looks like Drew finally got that truck running.
Yeah, he tore the tow package off it and lost about 3,000 pounds. And that gives Drew his first win of the night.
Round 1, race 4, Red Runner versus the Lambo.
Camera 1, are you on? Damn, Randy, you left that Mopar sitting at the starting line.
Insert blind squirrel reference here.
Lambo for the win. Round 1, race 5, my 59 Stingray called Prince versus Randy in his Ford GT called the Antidote.
I crossed. See?
Prince, 0 points.
Man, you really had to drive that one. Not too often you see two cars coming across the finish line in single file.
Sorry about that, Randy. My rear end took a bad bump and shot the front end toward the right lane, and I was just along for the ride.
Well then, that gives my little GT the win.
Round 1, race 6, the 69 GTO called Vengeance versus that deadly little big tired Super Beetle called Good Vibes.
Man, that was the fastest race I've seen so far. Our new driver, Jake Rendos, made a good showing for the first time in that Pontiac.
Round 1, race 7, the 57 Chevy called Ruby versus the 64 Chevy 2 called 420 time.
And Ruby wins it by a school bus. Round 1, race 8, a couple of serious slot rod OGs, Keith in the Cannonball versus Drew in the 8-ball.
And the Cannonball does what the Cannonball does.
8-ball, corner pocket.
Cannonball takes it by a car length, and that takes us to round 1, race 9. Tim Clark in Poison versus John Brown in his 65 Galaxy called JB Senior.
And John Brown wins his first ever race against a very bewildered Tim Clark.
Nothing like taking down a veteran racer with your very first time down the track.
Round 1, race 10, the Bird versus Lamb 2.
And the Bird gets his first win of the night.
Round 1, race 11, the 67 Comet called Mean Street versus Old Heavy all the way up from Memphis. Yeah, that's a drag race.
And Old Heavy sneaks across the finish line first.
Well, everybody, that brings us to the last race of round 1. We got Tim Clark in the Tri-Tower Tri-5 55 Chevy called Wicked versus Tony in his 66 Fairlane called Black and Blue. Man, these cars look so badass. They look like the old Rat Pink ride.
I know, all it's missing is the monster sticking out of the top shifting gears.
Oh, looks like Tony's Ford's feasting on Chevys for the night.
And that's my little black and blue for the win.
Our first race of the second round is Mean Streak versus Lamb 2.
And that race was all Mike. Mean Streak for the win.
Round 2, race 2, Drew in the Wrecker versus my Lambo.
Watch out, Randy. That truck's a killer tonight.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take 14 metric tons of shit off the back of your truck.
Left lane. Well, you managed to hold him off halfway down the track anyhow.
Yeah, he didn't pass me till damn near the finish. I didn't do too bad.
Round 2, race 3, Poison versus the Red Runner.
Yeah, Poison got him off the line and managed to hold him off the whole way to the finish.
Round 2, race 4, the Bird versus the 40 Willies called Golgotha.
And the Bird clipped his wings right before the finish.
Yeah, you put a tall crown gear in that Willys and you got yourself a competitor.
Round 2, race 5, the Antidote versus the Cannonball.
You need to stay away from drawing them fast cars.
And that embarrassing show gives Cannonball the win.
Round 2, race 6, Bootleg versus JB Sr. Rolling on this end.
And John forgot to go.
Yeah, you sleep on Bootleg and he'll get you every time.
Looks like JB almost came around him on the big end, but Bootleg's your winner. Welcome back to Slot Rods Underground, Night 1, Part 2.
Just to remind everybody, the Underground is a points championship spanning 3 nights of racing. And the way the points are set up tonight, you get 2 points for crossing the starting line under power, 1 point for crossing the finish line in your own lane, 5 points for a win, giving you a total of 8 possible points per round. So, let's pick up where we left off last time.
Round 2, race 7, we got 8 Ball versus Red Reaper. Oh, 8 Ball just got Reaper off the line.
But Reaper just barely managed to come around him on the big end, right before the finish line.
Giving Red Reaper the win.
Round 2, race 8, the GTO called Vengeance versus Kelly's Corvair.
Vengeance is off and running, and something happened to the Corvair.
Her rear tires were spinning all the way to the 100-foot mark. Then she finally caught traction, but it was too late.
And that gives Vengeance the full 8 points for the round.
Round 2, race 9, the 55 Nomad called Valentine versus the 64 Chevy 2 called 420 Time. Chevy 2 got the hit.
Yeah, I know it's a little early in the episode to say it, but now that's a drag race.
Ooh, giving it up early this week. Looks like 420 Time may have gotten a win. It looked like he was coming around him at the finish. Might have been.
Well, those two blurs don't tell us anything. Let's see the still photo.
Oh man, that Nomad nudged that Nova out by a bumper.
Round 2, race 10, Tony's 66 Fairlane called Black and Blue versus Old Heavy. Tony got out in front of him and never looked back.
He was definitely trying to come around me, but I held him off.
And that's Black and Blue for the win. Round 2, race 11, we got Kelly and her Good Vibes Beetle in the left lane versus Tony and Prince in the right lane. Last time Prince went down the track, he was in the left lane and got disqualified for crossing lanes before finish.
All right, we rolling? Rolling. What's that like? You might get hit by a Corvette. No, you get hit with a Corvette. Corvette jumped last time. You went to the right. I'm in the right lane.
No problem this time.
Poker straight right down the middle of the track. Tony surprises us by taking out the Good Vibes Beetle for the win.
Round 2, race 12, Tim's Tri-Tower Tri-5 55 versus my Little Red 57 Bel Air called Ruby.
Tony got out in front of him, but Timmy almost ran him down. Ruby comes through the tunnel first, wins by half a car length.
Round 3, race 1, Cannonball in the left lane versus Lambo in the right.
When I took the bite of the cheeseburger, it was a bit hotter than I thought, and I burnt my tongue. And that's why I forgot to go.
I don't even think we need the finish line footage to decide that one. That's Cannonball for the win.
Round 3, race 2, Drew in the Wrecker versus Tim in the Fiero called Poison. Looks like Drew pulled away from Tim at the halfway point and took the win.
Round 3, race 3, Kelly and Valentine versus Keith and the Bird.
It's 10 seconds. That's 10 seconds working. That's 11 more.
Kelly gets off the line first, and Keith just couldn't run her down.
Round 3, race 4, Golgotha versus The Antidote.
Golgotha looked a lot better that time and takes the win by a solid margin.
Round 3, race 5, black and blue versus the 8 ball.
I don't know what Drew did to the 8 ball between round 2 and round 3, but he just beat my little Fairlane.
This race was won at the starting line. Drew chopped that tree down.
Either that or it was a damn good guess. Either way, that's 8 ball for the win.
Which brings us to the halfway point of the last round of the night. Ruby versus Kelly's Corvair. Huh? What happened?
I don't know what happened, but something about that left lane hates me. And Kelly's Corvair got the win.
Round 3, race 7, we got Vengeance versus the Lambo.
Rolling.
I don't know, Tony. I think that left lane's contagious, and you got some on me.
Ew, thanks for the visual. Vengeance for the win. Round 3, race 8, Michael Mack in the 67 Comet called Mean Streak versus Drew in 420 time.
And there's another good drag race.
.420 time by nose.
Round 3, race 9, Michael Mack in the 41 Ford called Bootleg versus his mother Kelly in the Good Vibes Beetle.
They look like they're ready.
Woo! The Beetle got beat again. No way!
All right, that's it. I'm putting a new motor in that thing before the next race. I'm going to make sure she's a contender.
And that's Bootleg for the win. Round 3, race 10, a little more Chevy on Chevy crime. Prince versus Wicked. Look out, Tony. You're back in that left lane.
And to the same effect again, no points for Prince.
And that's Wicked for the win. Rounding third and headed for home, we got Red Runner versus Old Heavy.
Well, there's the closest race of the round.
You ain't kidding. That's Red Runner by a fender.
And that brings us to our last race of the night, folks. Red Reaper versus the 65 Galaxy called JB Senior.
JB got off to a late start, and it was Red Reaper all the way.
That's Reaper for the win, and that was our last race of the night. And this is our leaderboard for the first night of our competition.
Cannonball, Red Reaper, and the Wrecker are all tied for first place with 24 points.
Valentine, Bootleg, Black and Blue, Vengeance, The Bird, 420 Time, and Red Runner are all tangled up in fourth place with 19 points.
Ruby's in sole possession of 10th place with 18 points. JB Senior, Good Vibes, Mean Street, Kelly's Corvair, Wicked, Poison, Golgotha, Lambo 1, Antidote, and Old Heavy are tied for 11th place with 14 points.
The Magic 8 Ball is in 22nd place with 10 points, and Prince and Lambo 2 are tied for 23rd place with 8 points apiece.
Next time we get together, it'll be night 2 of the competition. And we'll be moving the track to a new location and be changing from 1/8 mile to 880 feet at scale.
And we'll also be changing the points on night 2. All points will be increased. That means the people on the bottom of the list are going to have a better chance at getting up towards the top of the list. But the first thing they're going to have to do is take out the leaders. But it also gives the leaders a chance to distance themselves from the pack. All they have to do is win, win, win.
You're joining us for night 2 of a 3-night competition.
This is our current point standings from night 1. And Lambo 1, Lambo 2, and the Antidote have been pulled from the competition.
Yeah, man, I got some better runners I want to race, and I couldn't find new rubbers for the Lambos anyway.
And that bumps Magic 8 Ball and Prince to 19 and 20 on the list.
Tonight, we're increasing the points totals across the board. It's going to be 3 points for crossing start, 3 points for crossing finish in your own lane, and 7 points for a win, giving you a total of 13 possible points per round.
And of course, a disqualification will result in 0 points.
Round 1, race 1, Tony in the 59 Stingray called Prince versus that Screaming Beetle Kelly calls Good Vibes.
Camera one's on. Watch for the white light.
Well, it looks like we're off to a good start. Man, you guys are putting on a show for the folks early.
Doing what I do. Took her by half a car.
And that gives Prince the win.
Round 1, race 2, the 1960 Ford Finkliner versus one of our rookie drivers, Josh, in the Mad Bird.
Oh, what happened to the Finkliner?
Guess I gotta get a look at the gears. They were screaming all the way down the track.
And that gives Mad Bird the win.
Round 1, race 3, rookie driver Jessica Harris in the International Scout called Scout Rages versus John Brown in the 1965 Ford Galaxy that he has renamed the Grim Reaper.
And that's another great race. These rookie drivers are doing pretty good.
Good enough to take out the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, and that gal gapped him too.
Scoutrageous for the win.
Round 1, race 4, Keith Bean in the Bird versus Mark Rendos in Golgotha.
Golgotha chopped the tree down.
And shot the bird that was in it. Golgotha for the win. Round 1, race 5, Tony in his 57 Chevy called Ruby versus Keith Bean in Old Heavy.
Got us a jump.
Yes, it is. That was a jump.
And regrettably, Ruby takes the easy win.
Round 1, race 6, the Pink Panther versus Valentine.
And the Panther stalled at the light and gives Valentine the automatic win.
Round 1, race 7, the Batmobile versus Jake Rendos in Nightmare.
Jake managed to get the jump on me and held me off all the way to the finish line.
And that's Nightmare for the win.
Round 1, race 8, the Magic 8 Ball versus Kelly's Corvair.
Now, I'd say that's a drag race, but they've all been good drag races. And your winner is the Magic 8 Ball.
Round 1, race 9, Jake in his GTO he calls Vengeance versus Randy in his Cobra.
Unfortunately, the finish line camera was the only one working. But as you can see, it wasn't much of a good race anyway from my perspective. Winner, Vengeance.
Round 1, race 10, a matchup I did not want to see this early. The Clash of the Titans, Black and Blue versus the Red Reaper.
Oh, now that's a drag race. And the best one of the night so far. Man, you guys were moving.
Now folks, when we say buy a bumper, we mean buy a bumper.
Red Reaper for the win. And I don't think he's going to want to race you too many times.
Round 1, race 11. Tim in the Tri-Tower Tri-5 55 Chevy called Wicked versus Randy in his hot rod he calls Bolt. Something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, as soon as my headlights come on, that crazy sucker ran right into the side of my car and then tried to blame me for running into him. Damn headlights must have blinded him.
The old headlights at the slot rod track trick. You're the kind of guy that throws sand in a guy's eyes before a fight.
A win is a win. Round 1, race 12, 420 time versus Exodia.
That's your super beat at home. It's missing the win.
Oh, I think he passed me.
Exodia by half a car.
Man, them rookies are really putting it to us tonight.
Round 1, race 13, Poison versus the Red Runner.
And the Red Runner spins a gear on the line. But at least he gets 3 points for crossing start.
Round 1, race 14, Michael Mack in Bootleg versus another rookie car, the Vega called Grumpy's Toy. And by the time they got to the finish, Bootleg managed to come around him and took the win.
That's the first one of them rookies we managed to get around tonight, ain't it?
Yeah, something like that. Round 1, race 15, the Wrecker versus the Cannonball.
Yeah, I think Drew needs some new picks of that Wrecker without the tow package.
Wasn't enough to get around the Cannonball.
Round 1, race 16, Keith in GetX versus Mike in Mean Street.
This one was lost at the line.
Mike either chopped one hell of a tree down or he guessed real good.
Mean Streak for the win. Round 1, race 17, Cab Over Pete versus One Man's Poison. We got us a truck race.
Lights up. Done. Something's wrong with OMP. I can hear them gears screaming from here.
And your winner is Cab Over Pete.
Our last race of the night, the 49 Ford called the Contender versus my 67 Charger called Manalishi.
Well, you got him out of the hole.
That was like half a car.
I told you that car was quick.
Yeah, but he managed to come around me like I was tied to a stump on the big end.
And that makes Contender our last winner of the night. And here in no particular order are the updated points for all of our original competitors from night 1. And here are all of our rookies that won races tonight, and they now have 13 points.
Madbird, Scoutrageous, Nightmare, Bolt, Exodia, and the Contender.
And that leaves us with the rest of the first night competitors. We have Cab Over Pete with 13, We have the Pink Panther with 0. We have the Finkliner, the Batmobile, the Cobra, Gedex, One Man's Poison, Manalishi, and Grumpy's Toy, all with 6.
Welcome back to Slot Rods, and welcome back to Night 2, Round 2 of our 3-night points chase we're calling Slot Rods Underground.
We're going to be joining the crew in a few minutes, but first, let's review our point system for the evening.
We have increased the points from Night 1 to 3 points for crossing start, 3 points for crossing finish in your own lane, 7 points for a win, giving you 13 possible points per round.
Of course, a disqualification results in 0 points.
As it should.
In no particular order, here are the point standings from our competitors on Night 2, Round 1.
Our rookies that joined us for Round 1 last time are all riding the bottom of the list. We'll give you an update on them at the end of the show.
On to the races. Round 2, Race 1, the Panther Pink Dodge Charger versus the funny car from the Razor's Edge called the Mad Bird.
Yeah, the Pink Panther must have been sleeping in the sun.
Well, he was definitely sleeping at the light.
And he paid the price for it, too. Mad Bird for the win.
Round 2, Race 2, Michael Mack in the 67 Comet called Mean Streak versus Kelly Calkins in her Super Beetle called Good Vibes.
There's 2 quick hits on the light.
Good Vibes got about 2 car lengths ahead of Mean Streak around the 400-foot mark and never looked back. Winner, Good Vibes.
Round 2, Race 3, the 1950 Chevy cab over drag truck called Cab Over Pete versus my hot rod I call Bolt.
That's another screamer of a race.
I don't know, everybody seems to be getting faster in Round 2, man.
And that's Bolt for the win.
Up next, Round 2, Race 4, the Red Runner versus the Bird.
The Red Runner spun a gear in Round 1. Hopefully they got it back together. Would that be a jump?
Yes, it would be a jump. And that gave the Bird the win.
Round 2, Race 5. Kelly's Corvair versus Jake Rendos from the Razor's Edge in the Nightmare.
Nightmare got the jump.
That was quick. Oh, that was quick, yeah.
And cleared the Corvair by several car lengths, giving Nightmare the win.
Those Razor's Edge cars look like they picked up right where they left off.
The record could not make it to the line, giving Gedex the competition bye.
Round 2, Race 7, the Contender versus the Batmobile. Ooh, the Contender was slow off the line that time.
Batmobile by a sound margin. Round 2, Race 8, Randy and the Cobra versus the 64 Chevy 2 called 420 Time. Oh, Randy, what happened?
Yeah, just shy of the finish line, the Mustang got loose on me and crossed center, and it cost me the race. .420 time gets the win.
At least you didn't wholesale the car. Good driving.
Round 2, race 9, Scout Rages versus Old Heavy. You know, Scout Rages had a hell of a run on her first time racing in the underground. Let's see if she does that good this time. Ooh, Old Heavy hesitated ever so slightly at the light, and it cost him the race. Scout Rages for the win.
Round 2, race 10, Tim Clark in the Fiero called Poison versus Michael Mack in Bootleg.
Mike just got the jump on Tim Clark.
Yeah, that ain't easy, and he made the most of it too.
Let's go back and take a close-up of camera 1. Poison had some trouble after the finish line.
Oh, he got tangled up on the side of the catch bin. Bootleg for the win.
Round 2, race 11. From the 724, we got Wicked versus another rookie from the Razor's Edge in Exodia.
Exodia won his race in round 1. Let's see if his beginner's luck holds out.
Now that's a drag race.
Tim was leading as they passed camera 2.
But Exodia came around on the big end and nosed him out for the win.
Round 2, race 12, a little Ford-on-Ford crime. 8-Ball versus the Grim Reaper.
John stole the hit in the Reaper, and they were neck and neck past camera 2.
They were a blur past camera 2.
And Grim Reaper edges the 8-Ball out for the win.
It's round 2, race 13, and it's about time. 2 Razor's Edge cars racing against each other.
Grumpy's Toy versus Golgotha.
Oh, Grumpy's Toy stuck the tire so hard on the starting line that he came up out of the slot. Then it was just exit stage left. Golgotha for the win.
Round 2, race 14, 2724 cars square off. The 59 Stingray called Prince versus the 57 Chevy called Ruby.
That race was as close as it was fast. You're right, Randy. These cars are getting faster as the night goes on.
By the time they cross finish, Prince managed to put a gap on that 57.
Round 2, race 15, from the Razor's Edge, Jake Rendos and Vengeance. And from the 724, the Finkliner.
This should be a pretty lopsided race. The Finkliner was having mechanical trouble in the first round, and word around the pit says they ain't get a chance to address it yet.
Well, at least the Finkliner managed to make a complete pass. 6 points is 6 points on the second night of a 3-night event.
Round 2, race 16, Valentine versus the Manalishi.
Man, at least you managed to get the jump, but Valentine came around on the big end.
Yeah, it was a good race, but Valentine for the win.
This race is basically a race for first place in the points race. The Cannonball versus the Red Reaper. Oh no, that's a terrible way for the race to end.
Red Reaper spun a gear, and by the signs of it, Tim was trying to blow the motor up.
The Cannonball just breezed his way up the list, and he forced the Red Reaper down the list.
Our last race of the night was supposed to be Black and Blue versus One Man's Poison, but OMP could not make it to the start, and that gives Tony the competition bye.
Cannonball has a tenuous hold on first place with 50 points. Valentine, Bootleg, and Vengeance are all tied up for second place with 45 points, which forces Red Reaper all the way down to 5th place.
Yeah, it's tough when you're falling down, because everyone around you is moving up at the same time. And welcome to the last round of Night 2 of the points chase competition we call the Underground. Our racers are going to get 3 points for crossing start, 3 for crossing the finish line, 7 points for a win, and a big goose egg for a disqualification, giving you a possibility of 13 points per round.
When we last left you, the Cannonball had a tenuous hold on first place with 50 points. But Valentine, Bootleg, and Vengeance are barking up his tailpipe, tied in second with 45.
Newcomer Golgotha and the Red Reaper are both tied at 5th place with 40 points.
Red Reaper only lost one race when he was tied for first, and it was enough to knock him down to 5th place.
Even more confusing, Black and Blue's all the way down in 7th place with 4:20 time, and the Bird with 38 points, leaving Ruby rounding out the top 10 with 37.
And that means there's only a total of 13 points between 10th place and 1st place.
And that's the number of points you get for one win in this round.
This means our racers not only have to win, but somebody needs to beat the top 5 cars to keep them from getting too far out ahead. We have 4 cars that had to drop out of the race. One Man's Poison, the Batmobile, the Wrecker, and the Finkliner. So instead of competition buys, we've decided that we're going to let everybody race it out that's here. Race 1 of our last round of the night gives one car an early opportunity to knock number 1 down the list. It's David versus Goliath. Keith Bean in the number 1 Cannonball versus lowly number 34, Randy himself in his Mustang he calls Cobra.
Carol Shelby, patron saint of blessed acceleration, don't fail me now.
That's like a little slice of hell being a DJ.
No way.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Yeah way.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, but I think Keith might have been sleeping at the light.
I think he was distracted by me talking to Josh at the finish line.
And I even give him a little gapsation for his trouble.
Cobra for the win.
Up next, another underdog gets his try from all the way down in 25th place. The Red Runner versus, tied for 2nd place, Valentine.
Will we see another miracle?
Oh, man. I played it was, but
Absolutely not. Red Runner gave it the old college try, but Valentine by a school bus.
Round 3, race 3, a couple of Razor's Edge cars. Vengeance versus Scout Rages.
Vengeance took off like a bullet, and Scout Rages went over the side.
Hope everybody was all right.
That's Vengeance for the win, and Scott Rages still gets 3 points for crossing the starting line.
Round 3, race 4, Ruby versus the rookie from the Razor's Edge, the Mad Bird.
Oh my god, dude. You were ahead of him. Did you just cross?
Man, she got loose right before the finish line, and it was all I could do just to keep it on the track.
Winner by default, the Mad Bird.
Round 3, race 5, rookie driver Exodia versus the veteran car Kells Corvair.
And somebody needs to stop these guys.
Well, not this round, because that was Exodia all day long.
Take a look at this in slow motion, and that'll tell you what happened to the Corvair. You'll see the Corvair's tires come up off the grind, and she bounced a few times, and each time she did, Exodia got a little further ahead. By the time she gathered it up, there was no catching that Mopar.
Up next, a couple of the 724 faithful, Wicked versus GetX.
Nice.
Wicked.
Ooh, something happened to the GetX on the big end. Wicked for the win.
Round 3, race 7, Tony in black and blue versus my newest build, Bolt.
Ooh, you got me off the line.
Yeah, but you came around me on the big end, brother. And that's black and blue for the win. What the hell are you running in that thing?
That's my little secret, but I will tell you, I'm not running the biggest motor here by far. Round 3, race 8 is a little Ford-on-Ford crime I've been wanting to see. The 1940 Ford called Golgotha versus the 1941 Ford we call the Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah, it's a shame 8 Ball was asleep at the light. So I thought that was going to be a much better race.
724 is just giving this thing away to the newcomers.
They ain't got nothing we didn't give them. It's like 724 just showed up and thought we were going to win.
Well, looks like it's about time to go back to school then.
Round 3, race 9, Tim Clark in Poison versus Michael Mack in Bootleg.
And another car in the left lane sticks the tires and goes off the track to the left.
Yeah, Tim had trouble before in the left lane, down near the catch bin.
Round 3, race 10, the Good Vibes Super Beetle versus the Bird.
Nah, there's a drag race. Man, if we'd been doing this all night long, we wouldn't be in this trouble.
Check out Good Vibes coming across the finish line sideways.
But she kept it in her own lane and bulldogged it for an important 13 points.
And she did keep it in her own lane. You can see a black line between the white line on the road and the white of her sidewall. Round 3, race 11, Cab Over Pete versus 420 time.
Looks like 420 time found it at 60 foot.
.420 time gets the points.
Round 3, race 12, the Green Manalishi versus the Nightmare. Looks like we've got a rookie car from each team.
Oh man, at least she gave that one away at the starting line.
Round 3, race 13, two cars trying to escape the middle of the pack. Prince versus Mean Street.
Man, Prince just died on the starting line.
What in the world do you think happened?
Well, with the way things are going this evening, I think he just thought he was lining up next to a Razor's Edge car.
Looks like the motor just shut down on him. Round 3, race 14, from Memphis, but racing for the 724, Old Heavy versus Grumpy's Toy from the Razor's Edge. And I stand corrected. Now that's a drag race.
And just when we need it the most, Old Heavy pulls out a win for the 724.
Round 3, race 15, the Red Reaper gets a chance to win back some points that he desperately needs racing the Pink Panther.
Well, the Pink Panther is a new car, and they don't quite have it all dialed in yet.
But you never know. That's why they call it drag racing.
And the Red Reaper straight up stole the light, man. He really needed them points.
This is our last race of the night, and it's two really fast cars. The Contender versus Grim Reaper.
Now that's two pretty looking Fords, boy.
Oh, my. Looks like the Contender was starting to pull ahead of my camera, too.
Contender by less than a car.
Dude, that was one hell of a night of racing.
Well, with the Cannonball's one loss, he fell to sole possession of fourth place, behind Vengeance, Valentine, and Bootleg, who are tied for first with 58.
Red Reaper and Golgotha managed to move up to fifth place, where they're tied with 53 points.
Black and Blue and 420 time are hot on their heels with 51 points.
Good Vibes and Mean Streak have positioned themselves in ninth place, rounding out the top 10 cars in the competition.
But wait, it's still anybody's ball game, because our final night of competition, all points will increase.
Per usual, Beetlejuice comes out of the hole like a bullet.
Yeah, the 52 came out pretty hard too, but you see all that spinning going on.
Yeah, and I can see that gap too.
That's even more fastballs. All right, we're ready.
Why not? Definitely got the jump. Ooh, Kelly coming around on the big end though.
Oh, she's real close, buddy. I think she might have had it.
I don't know. She was definitely crawling up that quarter panel of that Oldsmobile coming across the finish line. Ooh, look at that.
That's close, buddy. Too close for me.
Let's see this finish line camera. Oh, by less than a car length. The winner is Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
And per usual, Beelzebub gets a hit.
It was a perfect start for Beelzebub, and she managed to win by a car length, but paid the price just past the finish line.
Man, that car either wins, wrecks, or both. No in between for that car.
Ah, that bug lost a little paint, but she'll keep racing. She's double tough.
Oh! Oh, Kelly just chopped that tree down. That's all there is to it. There was no catching that little bug once it was gone. Well, Miss Calkins, the one-woman wrecking crew sending the 405 to the loser's bracket 2 races in a row. Dude, that little bug is so quick. Even though Anthony was sleeping at the line, he still beat that truck. Yeah, but that's a bold strategy you don't want to try with the 724 for very long.
Kelly could keep all 4 tires on the road. She should have this one. Ooh, Old Heavy stole the hit.
Wasn't enough to outrun the bug from hell, though. Beelzebub is going to have to get an emergency repair. Round 1, race 16, from the 412, the 55 Chevy, and from the 724, Kelly and her Good Vibes Beetle.
Now that's a drag race.
Looks like the 55 was leading by the halfway point.
But here comes that bug doing what it does. Good vibes by a nose. and welcome back to Slot Rods, and welcome to our third and final night of our wintertime point series we call the Underground.
For tonight's 3 rounds of racing, we're increasing the points once again, and tonight the drivers will be getting 5 points for crossing start, 6 points for crossing the finish line in their own lane, 12 points for a win, 0 points for a disqualification, making 23 possible points per round.
This was our point standing when we last left you, but since night 2, several cars suffered mechanical failure and will not be racing with us tonight.
Fink Liner, Pink Panther, and One Man's Poison have all dropped from the bottom of the list.
I had to pull Manalishi, Bolt, and Cobra from the list because I wasn't going to make it to the races that night.
Red Runner, The Wrecker, and Mean Streak all suffered catastrophic failures.
And they were replaced with 7 last-minute participants. For the 412, we got Blue Bayou, Eliminator, 911, and the Fireball.
Whew, we ain't seen them all winter.
I don't envy them at all having to step onto the moving train we call the Underground.
Well, they got here on the last night, so I think they're pretty much here to get data for the spring races. We also have 3 rookie cars making their first passes down the track tonight.
And they are On a Budget, Suprabad, and Christine.
You mean Christine?
The very same. And that Plymouth Fury's still as beautiful and scary looking as she ever was.
Round 1, race 1 is Valentine, who's tied for first with 58 points versus number 25, GetX.
We starting off with a drag race today.
GetX gave Valentine one hell of a run for first off the trailer. Did GetX win?
Yep, and that's why they call it drag racing, folks.
And that gives GetX a total of 48 points.
And Valentine works her way up to a total of 69.
The 11 points she got for the loss gives her a very tenuous hold on first place.
And unfortunately, on night 3, with how the points are going to stack up, she's going to need Bootleg and Vengeance to lose at least 1 race tonight.
Round 1, race 2, the 59 Stingray called Prince versus Drew's Magic 8 Ball.
From the view at camera 2, it looks like it's going to be a photo finish.
Now that's a drag race. Stingray by half car. That brings Prince up to 58 points, moving him all the way up to second place.
Round 1, race 3, the 1940 Willys called Golgotha,
Which Tony mistakenly called a Ford the last time.
versus a new entry from the 412, the Fireball Camaro. Golgotha for the win, and that brings Golgotha up to 76 points and gives Fireball his first 11.
Round 1, race 4, Brian Kane in Blue Bayou versus the young upstart Jake Rendos in his GTO called Vengeance.
I'm running.
Number 2 on. Number 3. Hit the lights.
Well, Brian's still quick off the light. He was a half a car out in front of the kid, but the GTO just came around him on the big end.
And that's Vengeance for the win.
That brings Vengeance up to 81 points, pushing him into first place. And it looks like Golgotha would be in second place with 76, pushing Valentine into third.
Round 1, race 5, the Red Reaper versus Scott Rages.
Looks like the Red Reaper had trouble with the line again, and this time it was a combo platter of misery. One of his brushes must not have been touching the rail, and it left him DOA, and when he did get it to connect, it spun a gear.
Scott Rages gets the win. And assuming Tim don't drive that Camaro off a cliff, he'll be back to fight another round.
Scoutrageous bumps up to 52 points, and the Red Reaper creeps up to 64.
Round 1, race 6, all the way from Memphis and driving for the 724, Old Heavy, up against a rookie on a budget.
No, man, you read that wrong. This is a rookie driving a car called On a Budget.
What did I say?
Well, On a Budget can get down because you just gave Old Heavy a drag race.
Oh, Old Heavy by a Memphis bumper.
Old Heavy moves to 56 points, and On a Budget cracks the seal with 11.
Round 1, race 7, the Ford on Ford crime. Tony in the Ford Fairlane called Black and Blue versus the 65 Galaxy called Grim Reaper.
I dropped a new motor in Black and Blue, and it just took off like its tail was on fire.
Black and Blue by a lot.
Black and Blue gets bumped up to 74 points, and Grim Reaper sits at 50.
Round 1, race 8, the Tri-Tire Tri-5 55 Chevy called Wicked versus newcomer Super Bad.
And rookie put it on Wicked.
And he put it on him good too. And that's Super Bad for the win.
Wicked moves to 47 points, and Superbad kicks off his career with 23. Up next, Nightmare versus Ruby.
I'm running.
Looks like it happened again, brother. You used up all the track on that run.
That's Nightmare for the win, and that brings Nightmare up to 62 points, and Ruby stays stuck on the bottom half of the list with 37.
Round 1, race 10, from the 412, the Porsche called 911 versus the Mad Bird from Motown.
That would be Monessen, PA, for you folks from out of town.
And that got him off the line, but that Mad Bird came around her right before the finish line.
That takes Mad Bird to 62 points, right beside his teammate Nightmare. And 911 cracks the seal with 11 points.
Round 1, race 11. For the 724, we got Kelly and her Corvair versus a newcomer who has been doing really well around here. The Mopar from the Razor's Edge called Exodia.
Hopefully we got the Corvair's front end hops problem taken care of.
Poker straight right down Broadway.
Finally, we're on the right track with that car. Now we got some data we can work with.
Round 1, race 12. From the 724, Trisha Breen and Christine versus Michael Mack in Bootleg.
I think Bootleg's going to have to win all 3 of his races tonight to have a chance at number 1.
She hasn't lost any of her reaction time off the line.
But Bootleg started coming around her at camera 2.
And that's Bootleg for the win. And that moves Bootleg up to 81 points, tying him with Vengeance for first place. And Christine still gets 11 points for crossing the finish line in one piece.
Round 1, race 13, the 49 Ford called Contender versus the Bird.
Oh, the Bird got him off the line.
Looks like the Contender lost power somehow.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the Contender. And the Bird takes the win.
Contender creeps up to 43 points and the Bird moves up to a pretty respectable 67.
Round 1, race 14. 2724 cars. The 64 Chevy called 420 time versus the 724 Legend, the Good Vibes Super Beetle.
That little bug has been around since the inception of slot rods. She's on incarnation number 3 in her third paint job and rebuild, and at the end of round 3 tonight, win, lose, or draw, she's going to be retiring that car.
Well, here's wishing her luck. Yeah, it'd be nice to see her go out somewhere close to the top.
Kelly got the jump and managed to hold on for the win.
Now that moves 420 time to 62 points and bumps Good Vibes Beetle up to 69.
Round 1, race 15, 2 more 724 cars. The Mopar funny car called the Cannonball versus Cab Over Pete.
They left at the same time, but Keith started to come around him almost immediately.
Looks like Cab Over Pete needs an overhaul. Cannonball for the win.
Cannonball managed to move up to 79 points, but Cab Over Pete remains on the bottom third of the list with 36 points.
Rounding third and headed for home, round 1, race 16. 2 more 724 cars, Poison versus the Batmobile.
Nice drag race, but Batmobile came around Poison on the big end.
Giving the Batmobile the win.
Batmobile moves up to 42 points, and Poison moves to 47, tying him with Wicked.
Which brings us to our last race of the night. Grumpy's Toy from the Razor's Edge versus the Eliminator from the 412.
Looks like the Eliminator got out first.
They were neck and neck past camera 2.
Grumpy's Toy ekes out the win by half a car.
That brings Grumpy's Toy up to 30 points, and the Eliminator gets her first 11.
And if we put them all in order, they look like this.
Bootleg and Vengeance are tied for first.
Cannonball sets at third, Golgotha at fourth, Black and Blue in fifth.
Valentine and Good Vibes are tied for sixth. The Bird is in eighth, and the Red Reaper barely staying in the top 10 at number 9.
420 time, Mad Bird, and Nightmare are all tied for the 10th spot. And I'm sure all three of those guys would like to finish in the top 10.
When we last left you, we're about to start round 2. Just as a reminder, on night 3, the points have been raised to 5 points for crossing the starting line, 6 points for crossing the finish line, 12 points for a win, 0 points for a disqualification, and a total of 23 possible points per round.
The points standing when we last left you look like this. Bootleg and Vengeance were tied for first place with 81 points. Cannonball was in sole possession of third place. Golgotha was in fourth, and Black and Blue in fifth.
Valentine and Good Vibes are tied for sixth. The Bird is in eighth. Red Reaper had managed to claw his way up to number 9. And 420 Time, Mad Bird, and Nightmare are all tied at 62 and slugging it out for the number 10 spot.
Round 2, Race 1. Bootleg from the 724 versus Exodia from the Razor's Edge.
And again, we're starting off the evening with a drag race.
Slow motion of camera 2 doesn't tell us much of anything. They are neck and neck.
Unfortunately, we don't have the footage from camera 3, but we did have it on site, and Bootleg won by a fender.
Which put Bootleg in sole possession of first place with 104 points. Exodia moves up to 61.
Round 2, Race 2. Fireball from the 412 versus Christine from the 724.
Cool, Camaro was first out of the hole.
Looks like Christine tried to come around him on the big end, but ran out of real estate. Fireball for the win.
Giving Fireball 34 points and Christine 22.
Round 2, Race 3. From the 412, the 84 Chevy truck called Blue Bayou versus Tim Clark and Poison from the 724.
Yeah, it looks like Tim's getting that Pontiac back together, buddy. Poison for the win.
That brings Poison to 70 points and Blue Bayou to a double deuce.
Round 2, Race 4. Two cars that have been having a lot of trouble lately. And they're both from the 724. The Red Reaper versus Ruby. Anybody want to take bets on whether they're both going to make it down to the end of the track?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, smart money says one of them's not going to make it. Tim spun a gear and Ruby takes the win.
But I still managed to come off the track after I crossed the finish line, smack the side of the catch bin, and fly off the cliff.
So, all in all, exactly what we figured.
Well, at least I managed to get the points. Ruby makes it up to 60, and Red Reaper is sitting at 69.
Round 2, Race 5. A couple of OG 724 cars. Valentine versus Prince. Dude, did you just let your girlfriend win?
No, I let my teammate take the win because she still has a legitimate chance of winning this whole thing.
Oh, it gave her one hell of a boost. Because at 92 points, that puts Valentine in second place.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Round 2, Race 6. Two guys who definitely ain't gonna let one another win. From the Razor's Edge, we got Golgotha. And for the 724, we got Cab Over Pete.
Cab Over Pete got his hands full. We better get off the line quick.
Old Cab Over lost that one at the light. If he wasn't out 2 car lengths by the 60-foot mark, he didn't have a prayer.
And unfortunately, Cab Over was a little late coming off the line this time, too.
Golgotha comes up just shy of triple digits with 99 points. And Cab Over Pete slides down the list with 47.
Round 2, race 7, another couple of 724 cars. The 49 Ford called the Contender versus Kelly's 68 Corvair.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Kelly off the light.
It doesn't help that the Contender was asleep. He's going to have to be a lot quicker off the light if he's going to ever beat that Corvair.
Kelly's Corvair for the win, moving her up to 72 points, and the Contender claws his way up to 54.
Round 2, race 8, Old Heavy versus Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper was mighty slow off the line.
That's a shame, because that Ford was starting to come around him on the big end.
Yeah, buddy, he managed to close that gap up to about half a car.
Round 2, race 9, the 64 Chevy 2 from the 724 called 420 Time versus the GTO from the Razor's Edge called Vengeance.
Looks like the Chevy 2 was sleeping at the line.
Ooh, then he stuck the tires hooked to the left that took out camera too. And that moves Vengeance up to first place with Bootleg for 104 points. 420 Time takes his 5 points for crossing the starting line, taking him to 67 points.
Round 2, race 10, Jake Rendos in Nightmare versus a newcomer named Zach in a car he calls On a Budget.
Well, apparently his budget did not include photos. On a Budget spun hard, and by the time he gathered it up, Nightmare was crossing the finish line. On a Budget moves to 22 points, and Nightmare moves to 85.
Round 2, race 11, we got Annette in the Eliminator versus Kelly in her Good Vibes Beetle.
And if you weren't with us last time, we announced that Good Vibes will be retiring after the completion of this competition.
So that means she's only got 2 races left?
Unless she has to race in the tiebreakers.
Well, looks like she's still running pretty good to me. Why are you going to retire?
Bro, that chassis is hosed.
Well, she managed to hang on for the win, bringing her all the way up to 92 points, and the Eliminator makes it to 22.
Round 2, race 12, the Tri-Tower Tri-5 55 called Wicked versus Keith Bean in the GetX.
Looked to me like Wicked got out of the groove.
Yep, that's why he lost the race. He lost power.
GetX moves up to 71, and Wicked moves to 58.
Round 2, race 13. Keith Bean in the OG 724 car called the Cannonball versus Scout Rages from the Razor's Edge.
Well, I didn't think Scott Rages was going to take Cannonball, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that.
She hesitated on the light, and you just can't do that against him.
Cannonball for the win. And that moves him up to 102 points, taking sole possession of third place. Scott Regis moves to 63 points.
Round 2, race 14, 911 from the 412 versus My Little Batmobile from the 724.
Now that's a drag race.
Ooh, slid it in right under the wire this week.
Yeah, I was saving it, but we're getting pretty close to the end now. Looks like you did the same thing Wicked did. Come up out of the groove and lost power. Cost you the race, didn't it?
Cost me more than that. I caught the side of the catch bin with my front end, and fortunately it flipped me into the catch bin.
911 for the win, and that brings her up to 35 points. And the Batmobile went up to 53.
Round 2, race 15, the Mad Bird versus Grumpy's Toy.
Well, Mad Bird got off the line first. Grumpy's Toy just couldn't reel him back in.
Mad Bird for the win, moving him to 85 points and Grumpy's Toy to 49.
Round 2, race 16. 66 Fairlane called Black and Blue from the 724 versus newcomer Supra Bad. Nice hit.
Thanks, but not so great for Super Bad. At least it didn't go over the cliff. Lives to race another day.
Black and Blue for the win. And that brings him up to 97 points, and Super Bad is at 34.
The last race of the night is 2OG 724 cars, the Magic 8 Ball versus the Bird.
Damn it. See, I should have saved it. Because there's a drag race.
Man, that's close.
The Bird by the pointy nose of that Pontiac.
Yeah, it looks like we saved the best one for last. The Bird moves to 90 points and the 8 Ball to 51.
And that brings our standings to Bootleg and Vengeance are tied for first place with 104 points. Cannonball is in third with 102. Golgotha moves up to fourth with 99. Black and Blue is right behind him with 97. And Valentine and Good Vibes are tied for sixth place with 92 points.
The Bird is at number 8 with 90 points. Mad Bird and Nightmare are tied at 9th with 85 points.
Just to remind everybody, on night 3, we increased the points to 5 points for crossing start, 6 points for crossing the finish line in your own lane, 12 points for a win, 0 points for disqualification, giving you 23 possible points per round.
When we last left you, Bootleg and Vengeance were tied for first place with 104 points. Cannonball was in third with 102. Golgotha was in fourth with 99, and Black and Blue was in fifth with 97.
Valentine and Good Vibes are tied for sixth with 92 points. The Bird sits alone at eighth with 90 points. Mad Bird and Nightmare are tied for ninth at 85 points.
And the lower 5 cars of the top 10 are not safe from Old Heavy, Kells Corvair, GetX, and Poison.
So there's still going to be a lot of exciting racing left in this last round of competition.
At the top of round 3, we have Old Heavy versus the Magic 8 Ball.
Ooh, Tony, looks like 8 Ball's back on track.
Something must have happened to Old Heavy because 8 Ball took that one by 4 car lengths.
bringing the 8 ball to 51 points, and that brings Old Heavy up to 90 points, which ties him with the Bird for 8th place.
Round 3, race 2. A couple more 724 cars. The 57 Plymouth Fury called Christine versus the 57 Chevrolet called Ruby.
Christine come off the line first, which was a good thing because Ruby immediately stuck the tires and cross-centered, giving Christine the win.
Also resulting in Ruby getting 0 points for the round and bringing Christine up off the bottom of the list with 45 points.
Round 3, race 3, the Prince from the 724 versus the Mad Bird from the Razor's Edge.
Oh, man.
That's a catastrophe. Cars got all tangled up about the 100-foot line, and all hell broke loose.
The Mad Bird got off the line first, got out about a half a car in front of the Stingray, and then proceeded to cross center, losing power. Then the Stingray T-boned the Mad Bird,
Sending the Stingray straight into camera 2, and the Mad Bird rolling and tumbling down the racetrack.
Yeah, nobody crossed on that. It was like someone out of somebody's lane.
Giving the Mad Bird 0 points and Prince 5 points for crossing the starting line.
bringing Prince up to 74 points.
Round 3, race 4, 2 of the 724's finest. Kelly Calkins in Valentine versus Keith Bean in the Bird. Now that's a drag race.
Sure as hell was.
You might have to take a look at that, but I think it was Val.
They were dead nuts, even from the starting line to camera 2.
Right at the finish line, Valentine managed to nose him out.
Unfortunately, I don't think 115 points is going to be enough to win this thing, but it should guarantee Valentine a spot in the top 5.
Round 3, race 5, 2 more 724 cars struggling in the middle of the list. Cab over Pete versus Wicked.
It was a great start, and Wicked got out to a pretty good lead, and Cab Over just couldn't close the gap.
Oh, look how close Cab Over was to coming around him on the big end. He only lost by half a car.
Giving Wicked the win and 81 points, and bringing Cab Over Pete up to 58.
Round 3, race 6, the 84 Chevy truck from the 412 called Blue Bayou, and the Vega from the Razor's Edge called Grumpy's Toy.
The Vega won that one at the line. He got out about a half a car and kept it till the finish.
Giving Grumpy's Toy the win and bringing him up to 72 points, and Blue Bayou up to 33.
Round 3, race 7. We're up to some more 724 on 724 crime. Keith in the GetX versus Ed in the Contender.
The GetX was off the line like a dart. Then the contender blew the tires off and lost power.
Giving GetX 94 points and stalling the contender's rise at 59.
Round 3, race 8, the Dodge Daytona from the Razor's Edge called Exodia versus Kelly's Corvair from the 724.
Dude, that Daytona's been running strong.
Well, I think I finally figured out what was wrong with the Corvair.
Exodia was asleep on the starting line, but I don't know, he could have caught that Chevy anyhow.
Corvair by 4 cars.
Bringing Kelly's Corvair to 95 points and Exodia to 72.
Round 3, race 9, Jake Rendos in Vengeance versus his teammate Jessica in Scoutrageous.
Vengeance made his usual super fast pass, and Scoutrageous looked like she was spinning a tire at the line.
And that was Vengeance by a school bus, and that gives Vengeance a whopping 127 points.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new number 1.
Bootleg's the only one that can catch him now.
Round 3, race 10, the Red Reaper versus the Batmobile.
And the Red Reaper finally made a pass.
Yeah, the Batmobile was trying to reel him back in, but he just ran out of real estate.
Red Reaper for the win, and that brings him up to 92 points and the Batmobile to 85.
Round 3, race 11, we have Poison from the 724 and Superbad from the Razor's Edge.
The Super was off the line first, and there was no way Tim was going to close that gap.
That's Superbad for the win, bringing him up to 57 points and Poison up to 70.
Round 3, race 12, the Willys called Golgotha takes on the Ford Fairlane called Black and Blue.
You picked a terrible time to fall asleep at the line.
Oh, all of that testing for nothing.
Golgotha for the win, bringing him up to second place with 122 points. And Black and Blue is dropping down the list at 108.
Round 3, race 13, Grim Reaper versus On a Budget, who apparently has not found the budget for a photo yet.
On a Budget managed to squeeze out a win by about a half a car, giving him 45 points and Grim Reaper 72.
What could be the last race of a 724 legend, the Super Beetle called Good Vibes versus her teammate, the 64 Chevy 2 called 420 Time.
I sense a theme with those two cars.
Whew, look at the booty shake on that Beetle. Like I said last time, that chassis is hosed. I'm just glad it made it down the track.
Well, it did more than that. It guarantees Good Vibes one more race because she's tied with Valentine again.
Round 3, race 15, 2 cars from the 412, 911 versus the Fireball.
.911 got off to the early lead, but Fireball passed her Camera 2 and took the win.
911 almost hung on long enough, but Fireball managed to get around her for 57 points, moving him to the top of the rookie class, and 911 tops out at 46 points.
Round 3, race 16, the Eliminator from the 412 versus the Cannonball from the 724. You know, the Eliminator has a chance to play the spoiler and knock Cannonball out of the top 5.
Looks like the Cannonball's... Oh, no, he's not. He crossed.
Let's go to the finish line camera, see if he crossed before or after finish.
Before.
That gives the Eliminator the win and knocks Cannonball out of the top 5.
And that brings us down to race 17 and to the last car who has a chance to tie vengeance for first place. Bootleg will be taking on the Nightmare.
They left at the same time, but Nightmare was just too light and too fast. Nightmare takes the win, giving his teammate Vengeance first place and the championship.
Vengeance takes first place with 127 points, and Golgotha takes second with 122.
Razor's Edge really made a statement here in the Underground. Bootleg, Valentine, and Good Vibes are tied for third place with 115 points.
Nightmare and Black and Blue are tied for sixth with 108 points. Cannonball took eighth. The Bird took ninth, and Kelly's Corvair got the highly coveted 10th spot.
Yeah, because GetX, Red Reaper, and Old Heavy are all at 11th, 12th, and 13th place. And you know they were hoping to crack the top 10.
Mad Bird and the Batmobile are tied for 14th. Wicked took 16th, and 420 Time took 17th. And that's the top half of your list.
And out of all the cars that entered just before round 3, Superbad and Fireball shocked everybody by landing at 27th.
Much to the chagrin of the Magic 8 Ball, who came in 29th.
That just leaves us the job of cleaning up the top 10. And first, we have to decide who's in 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
After drawing chips, it was decided that Valentine and Bootleg would race for 5th place, and the winner would race Good Vibes for 3rd and 4th.
Well, that was no disappointment. That was a drag race. Bootleg forced Valentine into the 5th place spot. Now, let's see who's going to take 3rd and 4th.
I'll be surprised if Good Vibes has one more win in that chassis. We knew we were retiring her tonight. I got her through 3 rounds of racing with basically hopes and prayers and toothpicks and bubblegum.
Woo! Look at that rear end swinging side to side.
Left lane.
Shame that rear end didn't have one more run in it. If she could have just stuck them tires one last time, she might have beat them.
That's Bootleg by 3/4 of a car length, giving him 3rd, Good Vibes 4th, and Valentine 5th.
Just leaving us with the business of deciding who's in 6th and 7th, which should have given Nightmare and Black and Blue the last race of the night. However, due to time constraints, we had to take that race with us to Monessen, where we were holding the showdown in Motown 2 weeks later.
So here's a little preview of what the Razor's Edge Raceway looks like.
Mark Rendos's racetrack uses the Pro-Style tree, and since that was my first time down that track, I red-lighted by about a mile.
Giving the win to Nightmare and giving him 6th place, and Black and Blue number 7. Let's go to the winner's circle for the trophy presentation.
I'm Rowan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to give the first ever Underground Points Chase Trophy to
Jake Rendos in Vengeance.
Very much.
What team's he? Show the trophy.
What team's he run for? What team are you for?
Razor's Edge. Thank you for having us.
And that gives us a new top 10 in the Slot Rod universe.
Number 1 is Vengeance. Number 2 is Golgotha. Number 3 is Bootleg. Number 4 is Good Vibes. Number 5 is Valentine. Number 6 is Nightmare. Number 7 is Black and Blue. Number 8 is Cannonball. Number 9, The Bird. And 10 is Kel's Corvair.
And that's it for the Slot Rods Underground Winter Points Championship for 2023. I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
And you've been watching Slot Rods.
And we'd also like to give special thanks to the Frontier Club in Latrobe for hosting our Underground Series special. Next year, it's going to be even bigger and badder, guys.
The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No sleeping allowed, yo, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch a soul blow from a distance, but give us some bass on, let the girl dance.
We work with such a little direction.
We'll get through it 40th, 50th try.
Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the ground. I'm blowing up like you thought I would.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome back to Slot Rods.
And welcome to the upstairs private room of the beautiful Frontier Club in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
We'd also like to welcome you to the second annual Slot Rods Underground Wintertime Points Chase. The 2022-23 Underground was a 3-night event, and it went over so well, we decided to extend it to 4 nights.
The amount of points you can get will increase each night, and tonight, just like we did on night 1 of last year, you'll get 2 points for crossing the starting line under power, you'll get 1 point for crossing the finish line in your own lane, you'll get 5 points for a win, and 0 points for any disqualifications.
Giving you a total of 8 possible points per round, and we will be racing 3 rounds per night.
We have 26 cars from the 724, the 412, and Team Motown, and you'll be seeing each one over the course of the first round.
So, as Tony likes to say, it's time to hit the lights and drop the hammers. Our first race is between Drew in the Chevy Impala called 6.9 versus me in my Supercar 4 GT.
Wasn't that thing called AAA whenever it raced in Season 1?
I don't own it anymore. Drew owns it now, man. He likes to call it 6.9 because of the number on the trunk.
Ain't 6.9 kind of a weird name for a 67 Impala?
I don't think he's talking about the year.
Drivers.
Yes.
Looks like Drew's out of practice. He was a little sleepy on the line.
Yeah, he was, but he stayed close. I only took him by less than half a car length.
Giving 6.9 3 points in the GT 8.
Race 2, we got a couple OG 724 cars. The 70 Corvette called the SOB versus the 51 Chevy called Slick Trick.
Looks like we started out with a drag race.
Ooh, something happened on the big end.
Slick Trick's front end got loose and caught something on the side of the track, causing it to go airborne.
Slick Trick did not cross the finish line. That only gives him 2 points for the round, and that gives SOB 8 points.
Round 1, race 3, we got my red 76 Corvette called Batmobile 2 versus the 3rd gen Pontiac Trans Am called Flamethrower.
Looks like he got you out of the hole.
I just could not catch him on the big end.
Giving Bat 2 3 points and Flamethrower 8. Round 1, race 4, the Chop 32 called Cherry Pie versus Alley Cat.
Alley Cat was quick off the start.
Looked like Cherry Pie did a bit of spinning at the beginning, just enough to slow you down, giving Alley Cat 8 points and the 32 Ford 3.
Round 1, race 5, the Spirit of 57 versus the brand new, completely redesigned Tazinator.
The original 1965 El Camino used for the first Tazinator, that was demolished in a catch bin accident at this year's Halloween shootout.
The new Tazinator is a 59 El Camino, and it's a proxy racer owned by Ed Taz Gardner of Port Richey, Florida. The only thing we salvaged out of the old one was the motor and the tonneau cover graphics.
I didn't feel like I was slow on the trigger.
We got that Tazinator running real good off the line. Tazinator 8 points, Spirit of 57 3.
Round 1, race 6, couple of Camaros. The Gen 2 called Tyrant versus the Gen 3 called Scaremaro.
You rolling?
Yes, hey.
Speak up.
Yeah, you say two.
Scaremaro got the jump and made a hell of a pass, taking the win with a 2-car gap.
Giving Scaremaro 8 points and Tyrant 3.
Round 1, race 7, my 65 Chevy 2 called Orange Crush versus Annette Kane and her daily driver called Mini-Me.
Orange Crush come off the line hard. Annette tried to reel him back in. She ran out of real estate.
Giving the Orange Crush 8 and Mini-Me 3.
Round 1, race 8. Couple of new cars that made a lot of noise at the Halloween shootout. The Harry Olds from the Kane Racing Team versus every Gen X male's childhood dream, the Mach 5. Good Lord, Denise, what the hell was that?
That Mach 5 tribute car is running like its namesake.
Giving the Mach 5 a quick 8 and the Harry Olds 3.
Round 1, race 9, Brian Big Daddy Kane and the Killer Nova versus my 1948 Henry J called Grape Gas.
And Grape Gas knocks the tires off before he could even get going. That gives Brian his first win of the night, and that gives a lowly deuce to the Grape Gas.
Round 1, race 10, Big Daddy and Son of Troublemaker versus the Gen 3 Camaro from the Trumpy Racing Team called Judas.
Rolling.
Judas fishtails off the line and spins the tires off for the first 60 feet.
And SOT makes a solid pass.
Watch the rear end of the Camaro coming off the line. The tire spun and it wasted all his power.
Giving SOT 8 and Judas 3.
Round 1, race 11, a couple of Motown cars. The white wheelies called the Ghost versus that squirrely pro mod called the Mad Bird.
The Mad Bird was responsible for one of the most spectacular crashes we ever caught on film, right here last December.
You can tell Mad Bird ain't been down the track in a while. He forgot what to do when the light come on.
That gives the Ghost 8 points and the Bad Bird 3. Round 1, race 12, we got the Kai Kelly tribute car called Jangalang versus the Pontiac concept car called the Banshee.
Rolling.
Now that's a drag race.
What's this young lady's face that's driving Banshee?
There's a big slot rod smile. Yeah, I think she'll be back to race again.
It only takes one win and we've got you hooked.
And when she did, by a short car length, that secures 8 points for Banshee.
Our last race of the first round are two full-size trucks that just couldn't help but draw each other. Hall & Oates versus Blue Bayou.
Hall & Oates was hauling ass.
But here comes Blue Bayou around on the big end for the win.
You gotta be kidding me. I was sure Hall & Oates won that race.
Quickly moving to round 2, race 1, we have Tyrant versus 69.
They left the line together, but it looked like 6'9" was getting out in front of the Camaro.
Impala couldn't hold the lead and the Camaro squeezed him out at the finish line by half a car, giving 6'9" his second loss of the night and Tyrant his first win.
Round 2, race 2, the Tazinator versus the Spirit of 57.
Yes, sir.
That 57 looked a little sluggish coming out of the hole. We better get that dialed in for you before the points start going up.
That's the advantage of the first night. If you need to do test and tuning, the points are low.
You can pretty much not even be here on the first night and still have a chance of winning the whole thing. Round 2, race 3, GT versus Judas.
I was sleeping on the line.
But that didn't help Judas. That pass was all forward. GT gets his second win of the night, and Judas takes a hard second loss.
Round 2, race 4, Mini Me versus Great Gas. Yeah, Great Gas kicked some ass that time.
Great Gas gets his first win of the evening, and Mini Me takes her second loss.
Round 2, race 5, the 65 Chevy 2 called Orange Crush versus the 66 Chevy 2 called Killer Nova.
Killer Nova was a little slow off the line and tried reeling that Orange Crush car back in, but the Orange Crush held on for the win.
Giving Orange Crush a solid 16 and bringing Killer Nova up to 11.
Round 2, race 6. It's the Alley Cat versus the Banshee.
Rolling.
Banshee for the win. That gives Banshee that all-important 16 points, and that brings Alley Cat up to 11. Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome back to Slot Rods, and welcome back to the Underground, and to the conclusion of Night 1.
When we last left you, we were in the middle of round 2 of a 3-round night.
Just to remind everybody the point structure of Night 1, it is 2 points for crossing start, 1 point for crossing finish in your own lane, 5 points for a win, and 0 points for any type of disqualification. So, without any further delay, let's pick up where we left off.
Round 2, race 7, that Chop 32 Ford called Cherry Pie versus the Son of Troublemaker.
Son of Troublemaker got out in front of you before you even hit the pedal. And a car length is about what he had on you at the finish. Giving Cherry Pie his second loss of the night, and Son of Troublemaker his second win of the night.
Round 2, race 8, we have the rematch of the full-size trucks, Blue Bayou versus Hall & Oates.
Last time around, Blue Bayou got the win.
And they leave together.
And they were still together at camera 2.
And Hall & Oates evens up the score by half a car, giving Blue Bayou and Hall & Oates both 1 win and 1 loss.
Round 2, race 9, the 76 Stingray called Bat 2 versus the Harry Olds.
Look like the Harry Olds got a busted shock on the right side of the car.
Yeah, it made the rear end of the Olds kick to the driver's side as soon as he let go of the button.
Giving Bat 2 the win.
That gives Harry Olds his second loss and Bat 2 his first win.
Round 2, race 10, the Corvette called SOB versus the Willys called Ghost.
And the Wheelies left early. That gives SOB his second win, and that gives the Ghost his first disqualification.
Round 2, race 11, from the 412, the Buick called Jangalang versus whatever the hell that is from Motown called the Mad Bird.
Now that's a drag race.
The Mad Bird managed to edge forward just enough to take Jangalang by half a car, giving the Mad Bird his first win and Jangalang his second loss.
Round 2, race 12, Mach 5 versus Dark Phoenix. They left at the same time, but Mach 5 immediately began to separate.
Glad I managed to get a half a car on him.
Giving the Mach 5 the win by half a car.
That gives the Mach 5 his second win and Dark Phoenix his first loss.
Round 2, race 13, our last race of the round. It pitted Slick Trick against Scare Mara. Unfortunately, Slick Trick wasn't able to get the repairs done from a crash in the first round.
Giving Scare Mara the competition bye.
And Scaremaro makes the most of it with a great pass, giving him his second win and Slick Trick his first goose egg.
Round 3, race 1, Mad Bird versus Blue Bayou.
That was a real good looking start.
That was a damn good finish too. Blue Bayou by half a car.
Round 3, race 2, got me and my Supercar GT versus the Kai Kelly tribute car from the 412 called Jangalang.
Rolling.
Looks like the GT had trouble getting off the line for some reason. We gotta check that thing out because it ain't right.
Yeah, Jangalang got me by 2 cars.
And that ain't right. Giving the GT his only loss of the night and Jangalang his first win.
Round 3, race 3, the ill-fated Slick Trick versus the Tazinator. And that gives Tazinator the competition bye and the perfect score for the evening.
Round 3, race 4, the Mach 5 versus Judas.
Judas got off the line first. Mach 5 came around on the big end.
Giving the Mach 5 and Judas perfect scores for the night. Mach 5 3 wins.
And Judas with 3 losses.
Round 3, race 5, Cherry Pie versus Hall & Oates.
Looks like Cherry Pie's having a hard time coming off the line.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a gear change on her. That pinion gear is too tall.
That gives Hall & Oates a solid 19 for the evening, and Cherry Pie got a whopping 9 points for the night. Round 3, race 6, that's 69 versus the Spirit of 57.
69 got a broken shotgun the same side that Harry Olds did. You can see as soon as he comes off the line, the rear end took a bad bounce on the same side as the broken shot. Shot the car right off the track.
Giving the 57 his first win of the night, and the 69 a low score of 8.
Round 3, race 7, we have SOT versus Alley Cat.
That race should have been all SOT. That car put a couple bus links on the Alley Cat. Then mysteriously came out of the slot, lost power, and Alley Cat took him on the big end.
This is the upset of the slot rod century.
Not too bad for an undersized, underpowered car that also races in the street division.
Enough to give her second win of the night and SOT his first loss. Round 3, race 8, some GM madness, SOB versus Scare Marrow.
Please hold his brakes on me. Ready? Don't worry. You good? 1, 3, 2.
Scare Marrow got out in front of SOB.
You can see SOB trying to come around him with camera 2.
And manages to gap Scare Marrow by the time he hit the finish.
Giving Scaramaro 19 points and the SOB a perfect score for the evening.
Round 3, race 9, we got Grape Gas versus the Harry Olds.
The Grape Gas loses power at about the half track, and we're not sure exactly what happened to him.
That gives Harry Olds the win, and the Grape Gas the cockeyed score of 13 for the evening.
Round 3, race 10, it's a whole lot of green. Killer Nova versus the Tyrant.
They come off the line in sync.
Oh, and they were both throwing sparks underneath.
That has got to be robbing those cars of power.
The Killer Nova manages to edge his way out in front of the Tyrant for the win.
Round 3, race 11, Ghost versus the Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix has been running faster and faster every round.
Dark Phoenix by 3 cars, giving Dark Phoenix 19 and the Ghost 11 for the night.
Round 3, race 12. Pat 2 versus Mini-Me.
Rolling.
That's another great drag race.
They were side by side the whole way past camera 2, giving us our closest finish of the night.
And Mini-Me takes it by a nose, giving Mini-Me her first win of the evening.
And Bat 2 has his second loss of the night.
And now for our last race of the evening.
The 65 Chevy 2 called Orange Crush versus Banshee. Orange Crush got out first, but Banshee immediately shot past him.
That was Orange Crush's worst pass of the night.
Yeah, not his usual fare.
And here's our point standing for night 1.
Slick Trick managed to pull the lowest score of the night with a lowly 2 points.
SOB, Tazinator, Mach 5, and Banshee all managed perfect scores for the night.
But none of that will matter for night 2 because the points will be going up.
And it's still anybody's ball game.
Tonight was just a warm-up for what's to come.
And on night 2, the racers are going to face a challenge of a longer track and alcohol on tap.
And I think the alcohol will be a bigger problem than the longer track.
Speaking of which, I'm about ready to go get a drink. Are we out of here?
I'm way ahead of you, buddy. I already won when I get there. Close this thing on.
Well, for Tony Mullick, I'm Randy Silvas. Hey dude, wait up! Oh yeah, you've been watching SLOTRODS. Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mullick.
Welcome back to the WPSRA Underground Wintertime Points Championship.
It's night 2 here at the Frontier Club in Latrobe, PA, and tonight we're running a medium-length track, which is pretty close to an 1/8 mile at scale.
And tonight we raised the points from night 1. Drivers will be getting 3 points for crossing start, 3 points for crossing finish, 7 points for a win, and 0 points for any kind of disqualification.
When we left you at the end of night 1, the point totals were pretty bunched up. 4 people tied for first, 8 people tied for fifth, etc.
But that's going to change tonight. And with that, let's get on with the show.
Round 1, race 1, GT versus the Mad Bird.
Mad Bird had trouble and lost power at about the 200-foot mark.
Giving GT the first win of the night.
Giving me a much-needed 13 points and Mad Bird 3. Round 1, race 2, Killer Nova versus Tyrant.
Rolling.
Well, it didn't take long to get a good drag race.
They were neck and neck at camera 2.
And it's Killer Nova by a nose.
Giving Killer Nova 13 and Tyrant 6.
Round 1, race 3, Brian Kane and Son of Troublemaker.
And Tony in bat 2.
Camera 3.
It looks like you both hesitated off the line, but you both left together.
Dead even at camera 2.
And bat 2 takes it by half a car, giving bat 2 13 and Son of Troublemaker 6.
Round 1, race 4, Blue Bayou versus the one and only Mach 5.
Camera 3. Yeah.
Looked like Mach 5 got out first, and Blue Bayou was right on his fender. The Mach 5 takes it by the nose of his Trident front end.
That gives me my first win of the night and Blue Bayou his first loss.
Round 1, race 5, Judas versus Banshee.
Rolling.
And that's Banshee with the whole shot and Judas playing catch up.
He was severely short on real estate if he was going to catch that Banshee.
Giving Banshee 13 points and Judas 6.
Round 1, race 6, Grape Gas versus the Hairy Olds. Now that's a drag race.
Harry Olds was starting to come around at camera 2 and held it down on the big end for the win. That gives the Harry Olds 13 and Grape Gas 6. You can already see how wins and losses are going to stack up pretty quick with a 6-point spread between winning and losing.
Round 1, race 7, Spirit of 57 versus Scare Marrow. Scare Marrow put 2 cars on me before I even left the line.
Looks like you were trying to come back around, but Scaramaro held you off for the win.
And that gives Scare Marrow 13 and my 57 Chevy 6.
Round 1, race 8, the Ghost versus Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
What the hell's that?
What the hell was what?
I don't know. I heard some kind of echo or something when you said Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
See?
See what? I told you drinking all those Jaeger bombs last night was going to mess you up today. Your brain's mush.
Yeah, I'm always a little mushy, but I know what the hell I heard.
Oh, the Ghost left town without even saying goodbye.
And Alley Cat spent the rest of the race just trying to catch up.
Alley Cat.
There it goes again.
There's what again?
Nah, don't start that shit again. I know what I heard.
Heard what?
Someone said Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
Yeah, dude, that was you. You just said Alley Cat just spent the rest of the race trying to catch up.
Round 1, race 9, Jangalang versus Slick Trick.
Rolling.
Oh, perfect start.
Jangalang started sneaking on me right around camera 2.
And managed to gap you by the finish line, giving Jangalang 13 and Slick Trick 6.
Round 1, race 10, SOB versus Dark Phoenix.
And buddy, you just lost that one at the starting line. And that's a devastating loss for SOB.
Yes, sir, and that loss will knock him right out of the top 5.
Round 1, race 11, all the way from Port Richey, Florida, the Tazinator versus Annette Kane in her Mini Cooper called Mini Me.
And the Elko left like he was on a mission.
And his mission was to win.
And that's Tazinator with 13 points and Mini-Me with 6.
Round 1, race 12, that Chop 32 with the 428 Cobra Jet called Cherry Pie versus those guys who we wish would just stop suing one another and get back together and make good music again. All the notes.
And that race was all Hall & Oates.
Looks like that 32 needs a little work. That's Hall & Oates with 13 and Cherry Pie with 6.
Round 1, race 13, our last race of the round. Orange Crush versus the Scorpion.
Scorpy was a last-minute addition, standing in for 69, who had to drop out of the competition.
That 65 Chevy 2 made that Scorpion look like it belongs in the street division.
I may have to do a few modifications and do just that. And here's our point standing for the end of round 1, and Scorpion is replacing 69 in the running.
Round 2, race 1, Ghost versus GT.
Rolling.
I hesitated and I don't know why.
Sometimes you can be trying so hard to anticipate that you just end up being late.
And that gives Ghost a much-needed 13.
Round 2, race 2, that dedicated drag car named Judas versus
that dedicated parts hauler, Hall & Oates. Oh.
And Judas jumps.
He was up and away before the light even come on.
That gives Hall & Oates an easy 13 and Judas a disappointing 0.
Round 2, race 3, that red-eyed monster, the 59 El Camino called the Tazinator, versus the 57 Chevrolet called Spirit of 57.
It was a decent start, but the Tazinator got away from him pretty quick.
Yeah, I think I got another one for the street division.
And the Tazinator keeps his dream alive and gets 13 points. The 57 still pulls 6.
Round 2, race 4, SOB versus Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
Are we gonna pretend this isn't happening?
What?
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 Now you know what.
Apparently SOB was making up for his last race.
And Alley Cat never stood a chance.
Alley Cat.
Oh, come on.
That's it. No more Jaeger bombs for you. They're permanently off your menu.
Round 2, race 5, Jangalang versus Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix off to the quick start. And he holds off Jangalang for the win. That Dark Phoenix with 13 points and Jangalang with 6. Round 2, race 6, we have Bat 2 versus Banshee.
Banshee guessed on the light and guessed right. When somebody guesses on the light, there's very little chance of catching them.
Banshee gets 13, Bat 2 gets 6.
Round 2, race 7, the Hairy Olds versus Blue Bayou. Now, it's a shame when you draw one of your own teammates, because whoever wins is taking one of their own out of the competition.
Every win or loss tonight can move you around the list more than you think, having a differential of 7 points between each win or loss.
Hairy Olds was out first by about half a car and manages to stretch Blue Bayou out for the win.
Hairy Olds gets 13 and Blue Bayou 6.
Round 2, race 8, Grape Gas versus Tyrant.
Grape Gas has been having issues just making it down the track under full power. Let's see if he's got that ironed out yet.
Both drivers waited for the light, and they both left together.
Looked like Grape Gas had the advantage of camera 2.
And managed to hang on to that small lead till the finish line.
And that'll give him the chance to gather up some decent data. That run was way better than his first one.
He already got more points tonight than he had in all of night 1.
Round 2, race 9, the Mad Bird versus Son of Troublemaker.
It's the battle of the pro mods.
Beautiful start. Looked like the Mad Bird was ahead at camera 2.
And it's Mad Bird by 2 cars.
SOT's doing good keeping his front end glued to the track, but I think he needs a little bit of weight over the rear tires.
Yeah, he's not getting to use all that power because he can't get it to the surface.
Next up, a car that's been trying to sort through a lot of problems. An OG champion, the 1951 Chevrolet called Slick Trick versus the Mini Cooper called Mini Me.
Those drag bars on that Cooper are longer than the whole car.
Slick Trick was slow off the line.
Slick Trick has been snake bit throughout this whole competition.
And that gives Mini Me 13 points to move on with.
Round 2, race 11, the 65 Chevy 2 gasser called Orange Crush versus the Gen 3 Scare Mara.
That Orange Crush is starting to make some good passes.
Shame you couldn't do that on night 1.
Looked like Scaramaro had some sort of problem on that run.
Orange Crush already topped out his score from night 1 in only 2 rounds.
And that points differential is taking a toll on every car that loses a race tonight.
Round 2, race 12, the Chop 32 called Cherry Pie versus the Studebaker gasser called Scorpion.
Looks like I'm finally getting down 32 to run. That was a pretty decent pass.
And that is enough to get Cherry Pie his first win of the night.
Our last race of round 2 pits the Mach 5 against the Killer Nova.
Oh, Mach 5 took off like a shot.
That Killer Nova was reeling me back in as fast as he could, but he just ran out of real estate.
That gives the Mach 5 his second win of the night and the Killer Nova his first loss.
And that means the Killer Nova and SOB have both managed to knock themselves out of the top 5.
That is just brutal. One loss can change everything.
That's 2 fast cars that should be trying to see how close to number 1 they can get, and now they're just trying to stay in the top 10.
Round 3, race 1, the Ghost versus Judas.
Judas is still having traction problems. That rear end kicked all the way out to the right.
And the Willys made his usual pass,
giving the Ghost the first perfect score for the night.
Round 3, race 2. Again, teammates racing one another. Killer Nova versus Jangalang.
Rolling.
Solid start. Looks like the Killer Nova got power to the surface first, and he put a car on Jangalang.
And he managed to hang on to it long enough to take the win.
Giving the Killer Nova 2 out of 3 tonight, and something is definitely wrong with Jangalang.
Round 3, race 3, Cherry Pie versus his teammate, Bat 2.
Cherry Pie keeps hesitating off the start, and we just cannot figure out why.
And that hesitation opened the door for Bat 2 to win.
Giving that Batmobile 2 out of 3 for the night.
And Cherry Pie is still struggling.
Round 3, race 4. Alley Cat versus GT.
Alley Cat.
What was that?
What was what?
They got a good start, but that GT was just too much for the Alley Cat.
Alley Cat.
Dude, did you just hear that echo?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. GT takes the win by 2 cars, giving him 13 points and 6 to the little alley cat.
Alley cat.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either.
Hear what? Round 3, race 5, Slick Trick versus Dark Phoenix.
Slick Trick's in a lot of trouble, and Dark Phoenix just needs to go A to B.
And that's what he does, giving Dark Phoenix a perfect score for the night.
And Slick Trick does too, except with 3 6s.
And that's the perfect number, because we need to exorcise the demons out of that thing.
Round 3, race 6. The Tassinator and the Scorpion make their final passes of the night.
That Tassinator's getting faster and faster with each pass, and that Scorpion's headed for the street division.
Yeah, maybe a small block motor and some new gears is what she needs. And that Tassinator was still walking away at the finish line. I can't wait to see that thing on a quarter-mile track.
Giving the Tassinator a perfect score for the night, and the Scorpion is saddled with the mark of the beast, 666.
Round 3, race 7. Here's another mismatch. The 57 versus Banshee.
A pro mod that's on his way up versus a car that's headed for the street division.
And it looks like Banshee's getting faster with every pass.
And another perfect score, and another car takes the dreaded 666.
Round 3, race 8. Teammates face off again. The Grape Gas versus the Mach 5.
Once again, the Mach 5 takes off like a shot.
And the Grape Gas is still fighting through his problems.
Giving Mach 5 the perfect score for the night, and the Grape Gas loses 2 out of 3.
Round 3, race 9. SOB versus Hall & Oates.
You left at the same time, and Hall & Oates made a good pass. What the hell's wrong with that Corvette?
I won't be able to tell you that until the next race, but what I can tell you is SOB just got knocked out of the top 10.
Giving Hall & Oates his perfect score for the night.
Round 3, race 10 will pit the Orange Crush against the Hairy Olds.
Now that's a drag race.
Looks like Hairy Olds was starting to pull away at camera 2 and managed to stay ahead for the win.
Giving Hairy Olds his perfect score for the night.
Round 3, race 11, a little Camaro on Camaro crime. The Scaramaro versus the Tyrant.
And Tyrant gets caught sleeping at the line.
But it looks like he was starting to come around at camera 2.
And gaps Scaramaro for the win.
Neither car had a perfect score for the night, but neither car did too bad either.
Round 3, race 12. A couple of teammates who really need to stop drawing one another. Mini-Me versus Blue Bayou.
Rolling.
And this time Blue Bayou gets the jump, and Mini-Me just could not run him down.
Making Blue Bayou and Mini-Me unfortunately responsible for only getting 1 win apiece tonight. Round 3, race 13, our last race of the night. SOT versus the Mad Bird, the rematch of the Pro Mods.
And the Mad Bird jumped. Now, this was awfully close, and I was actually asked to come back here to the studio and figure out whether there was a jump or whether it was a clean start. And I was asked to do it for 2 races. And I did it the same for both races. I went to 3 frames before the light, and I watched each frame until the light came on. For the first race, which was one of the Banshee races, Banshee never moved until the light changed. When the light changed, Banshee was already halfway past the car beside it, which means that Banshee did guess. But there's only so many frames per second, and I can only go by what I can see. So Banshee had a clean start. What I'm about to show you are the last 2 frames before the light came on for this race. Whenever the second frame comes on where Madbird moves, I have the word jump come up on the screen. I want you to watch it. Keep your eye on the back bumper and the back tire of the driver's side of the Madbird. You're not going to see it the first time, but you'll see jump pop on the screen. Now I'm going to show it to you again to let your eyes adjust. Watch the bumper, watch the tire, and watch for jump to appear, and you'll see the car move. Now that your eyes have had a chance to adjust to it, I'm going to do it one more time. This time the word jump will not appear on the screen. Just watch the bumper and watch the rear tire. I understand it only moves by the slightest fraction, but let's try to remember something, guys, and be honest. If the car was moving before the light came on whatsoever, you weren't just touching the accelerator, you had the hammer down. That means you definitely jumped. Alright, that gives us our final tallies for the night. And here are your scores from night 1 and night 2.
And here are the total scores.
And here's where you're going to get to see how much movement happened on the list.
Banshee, Mach 5, and Tazinator are the last 3 cars to have perfect scores for the competition. They're tied at first place.
Hall & Oates and Dark Phoenix are tied at 4th with 58 points.
Harry Old sits alone at the number 6 position with 53 points.
And the Killer Nova, GT, and Orange Crush are tied at 7th with 51 points.
Ghost sits alone at the 10th spot with 50 points.
And SOB is right on his back bumper at number 11 with 49.
Bat 2 sits alone at the 12th spot with 46 points.
And Blue Bayou, SOT, and Scare Marrow are all tied at number 13 with 44.
Jangalang, Tyrant, and Mini-Me are tied at number 16 with 39 points.
Grape Gas sits alone at number 19 with 38.
And the number 20 spot is being held by that little car that runs in the street division as well, called...
Wait for it.
Wait for what?
Alley Cat.
There you go. If you can't beat them, put them to work.
Cherry Pie sits at number 21 with 34 points.
Spirit of 57 is the number 22 with 32 points.
Madbird sits at 23 with 30 points. And Judas sits at 24 with 21 points.
Slick Trick sits at 25 with 20 points.
And Scorpion is riding the bottom of the list with 18. Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvis.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
Welcome to Slot Rods and welcome to the final round of our Underground Wintertime Points Chase.
Here on our final night of competition, it will be 6 points for crossing start, 7 points for cross and finish, 10 points for a win, and of course 0 points for any disqualifications.
That gives each driver a potential 23 points per round or 69 possible points for the entire evening.
That leaves great potential for people to move up the list who were stuck at the bottom or even in the middle of the list.
This is the third and final night of a race that's been going on for 3 months. And here are your totals from night 2.
Slick Trick and Scorpion have dropped off the list.
And SOB suffered a catastrophic crash during test and tune, and also had to drop out of the race.
And as you can see, Banshee, Mach 5, and Tazinator are our 3 undefeated cars in our 2024 Underground.
Round 1, we have 22 cars, 11 races, and the Mach 5 drew the bye for the 23 points and the free ride to round 2.
Race 1, round 1, we have Mini Me versus Grape Gas.
Rolling. Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3. Rolling. Yep.
And Grape Gas jumps out of the slot and runs into the right guardrail.
That gives Grape Gas 6 points for crossing start, and Mini Me the big 23.
Up next, Brian Kane in SOT versus me in the GT.
Rolling. Camera 2. Camera 3. Driver. Ready.
And the GT spins a gear. And that gives SOT 23 points and the GT 6.
Race number 3 pits Blue Bayou against the Mad Bird.
And the Mad Bird does what the Mad Bird does.
And what the Mad Bird does is give us exciting footage to use in our intro sequence every year.
The Mad Bird crossed center and hit Blue Bayou in his passenger door, knocking him out of the slot and sending him riding the rail for the rest of the 8th mile.
Well, the Mad Bird managed to avoid going end over end and ends up perpendicular to the racetrack.
And the Mad Bird is disqualified for crossing center and gets 0 points.
And Blue Bayou came out of the slot, but he managed to stay in his own lane and cross-finish for the win and the 23 points.
Race number 4, Hall & Oates versus Tyrant.
Camera 3. Here. Rolling. Driver. Ready.
Yeah, Tyrant beat Hall & Oates off the line like he owed him money.
And Hall & Oates tried to run him down for the cash, but he just couldn't catch him. That gives Tyrant 23 points and Hall & Oates 13.
Race number 5 gives us Killer Nova versus Scare Marrow.
Drivers. Yep.
Looks like Scaramaro got off first.
And Killer Nova could not run him down,
Giving Scaramaro 23 points and Killer Nova 13.
Up next, the undefeated Banshee versus Bat 2.
Rolling. Camera 2. Camera 3. Drivers.
And Bat 2 jumps. Worst part is Banshee spun a gear and would have lost that race if you wouldn't have jumped.
It wasn't even close. I must have got happy thumbs. Banshee remains undefeated, and Bat 2 takes the goose egg. Now we got Jangalang versus that Dark Phoenix.
Something must have happened to Jangalang because Dark Phoenix took him by a school bus.
Giving Dark Phoenix 23 and Jangalang 13.
Race 8, we got Orange Crush versus the Spirit of 57.
Rolling. Is that 4-day way?
No, it's good time.
Camera 3. Driver. Ready.
And the Orange Crush spins a gear.
And that leaves my slow 57 for the win, with 23 points, and Orange Crush gets 6 for crossing start.
Race 9 is Judas versus that Chop 32 Ford called Cherry Pie.
That is a pretty car.
Yeah, pretty slow, and I'll be damned if I can figure out why.
Ready.
That gives Judas his first 23 points for the night, and Cherry Pie has his first 13.
Up next, the Harry Olds versus Ghost.
Camera 3.
Rolling. Drivers ready? Yes.
Yes.
Now that's a drag race.
Oh my, I'm not even sure about that race's slow motion. Let's look at it in slower motion.
Okay, here it is, closer and slower.
Ooh, Ghost got him.
Yeah, and just by the tip of his nose.
Giving the Ghost a well-earned 23 points, and the Harry Olds a disappointing 13.
Up next, the Tazinator versus
Alley Cat.
At the beginning of the night, before we even got a chance to race, Tazinator broke a motor mount and we had to zip tie the motor into place so we could even get to the starting line.
them some pretty good zip ties.
Well, let's not get too comfortable yet. There's still 2 rounds. But for now, the Tazinator's still undefeated.
Giving Tazinator his first 23 points for the night, and Alley Cat 13.
Alley Cat.
And the Mach 5 got his 23 points for drawing the bye.
Man, when the Mach 5 drew the bye, that about went over like a fart in church.
Yes. The masses were not pleased.
Round 2, race 1, Judas versus Bat 2.
And that was another close one. You were ahead at camera 2.
But by camera 3, he was about a car and a half out in front of me. I think I geared that Corvette for 660 instead of an 1/8 mile.
Giving Judas 23 points and Tony 13 more than he had in the first round.
Up next, Annette Kane and Mini Me versus Randy Silvis and his GT. Ooh, Randy, you beat Mini Me off the line.
I was still hanging on at camera 2.
And you barely held her off to get the win, giving GT 23 points and Mini Me 13.
Up next, we got Grape Gas versus Tyrant. And Tyrant's putting on a clinic tonight. And Grape Gas couldn't finish his first race. This might be over before it starts. Oh, he didn't have trouble this time. Grape Gas is out by about a half a car.
The Tyrant was closing in on me by camera 2.
Oh man, that was close. Let's take a better look at that. He got you by inches. If you'd had a bumper on that car, you might have won that race.
That gives Tyrant 23 and Grape Gas 13.
Race 4, the Tazinator versus Scare Marrow. Let's see if that zip tie has another run in it.
Nope, damn it came loose. I knew that zip tie wasn't going to take long, but I thought I'd get more than one run out of it.
And the first of our undefeated cars takes its first loss.
I'm going to have to get that motor strapped down to win one more race.
Scare Marrow takes his second win of the night, and Tazinator takes his first loss.
Up next, the battle of the Chevy 2s, Killer Nova versus the Orange Crush. Camera 2. Camera
3. Orange Crush is out by a half car. Oh, something went wrong on the big end.
And Orange Crush comes out of the groove, smacks the guardrail, and comes across the finish line sideways for the win.
Giving Orange Crush 23 and Killer Nova his second loss of the night.
Race number 6, the undefeated Banshee versus the all-heart Spirit of 57.
Oh, Lord. It has to come to this?
Well, it didn't help you were sleeping at the line.
And Banshee takes it by a freight train and remains undefeated.
Up next, the Harry Olds versus Blue Bayou.
Rolling.
And Brian was sleeping on the line, and you can tell he knew it.
Well, that's one way of staying out of trouble with the wife.
That gives Harry Olds 23 and Blue Bayou 13.
Up next, SOT versus Hall & Oates.
One is rolling.
SOT gets a hit.
But Hall & Oates steals it at the finish line.
SOT gets his first loss of the night, and Hall & Oates his first win. Race number 9, we got the undefeated Mach 5 versus Mark Rendos's wheelies called Ghost. Ooh, and that would have been a much closer race if Ghost didn't cross center.
Looks like he had already crossed by camera 2.
That disqualifies Ghost for 0 points, and the Mach 5 managed to hold on to his undefeated status along with Banshee.
Race 10, Jang-a-Lang versus Cherry Pie. Man, I can't get that Ford to get out of its own way. I've done everything short of an exorcism.
Jang-a-Lang gets his first win of the night, and Cherry Pie his second loss.
And this brings us to the last race of round 2. Dark Phoenix versus the Mad Bird.
Well, he might not have won, but Mad Bird made an A to B pass, and that's something.
Giving the Dark Phoenix his second win of the night, and Mad Bird 13 more points than he had in the first round.
And Alley Cat takes her 23 points for drawing the bye.
Alley Cat.
And that brings us to the final round of this whole damn shooting match. And we're kicking it off with Alley Cat versus Grape Gas.
Alley Cat.
Grape Gas makes a good pass and takes the first 23 points from the final round.
Up next, Hall & Oates versus Tyrant.
This should be a close one.
Okay, camera 1. Camera 2. Camera 3. Drivers.
They were neck and neck at camera 2.
Hall & Oates barely gaps him and gets 2 out of 3 for the evening. And Tyrant takes his first loss of the night.
Up next, we have the Ghost versus Judas.
Rolling.
And Ghost makes his first serious pass of the night, and Judas just couldn't catch up to him.
Ghost goes 2 for 3 for the evening, but he had that goose egg in round 2. Judas gets his first loss of the evening, and he goes 2 for 3.
Rolling.
Race number 4, Harry Olds versus the Killer Nova.
And Harry Olds has a serious advantage in this race.
And Harry did not disappoint. He spanked Killer Nova.
Harry Olds goes 2 for 3 for the night, and Killer Nova takes straight 13s.
The legacy of that OG slot rod is in serious jeopardy. Come on, Brian. You can't let her go out like that.
Up next, 2 more cars from the 412. Brian and Annette cannot stay away from each other. Blue Bayou versus Jang-a-Lang.
And Blue Bayou does not disappoint with a decisive win over Jang-a-Lang.
Giving Blue Bayou 2 for 3 for the night, and Jang-a-Lang 1 for 3.
Up next, Mad Bird versus my Spirit of 57.
This is literally anybody's race.
And the Mad Bird gets himself one, and the 57's going back to the drawing board.
Giving the Spirit of 57 and Mad Bird one apiece for the evening.
Race number 7, surprise, surprise, surprise. Brian and Annette Kane square off once again with SOT versus Mini-Me.
Annette got out first and managed to stretch that Pro Mod out to a 2-car gap.
Giving SOT one win for the evening and Mini-Me 2 for 3.
Race number 8 gives us Bat 2 versus Orange Crush. It's you and me, Randy.
Drivers?
Yep.
You that time, bucko.
You got nothing. Take that. Bat 2 takes it by half a car, giving Bat 2 his first win of the night and Orange Crush his second loss.
Our next race, Dark Phoenix versus, from the great state of Florida, the Ailing Tazinator.
Come on, baby, just hold on for one more race.
Come on, zip tie.
Say the magic words. Booga, booga, booga. Oh, that was a good pass, but I think the gears were just a little too tight.
You were so busy trying to keep it from coming apart, you put them too close.
Sorry about that, brother, but Taz will still be in the top 10.
Hey, that's not bad for a car that couldn't win a race about a year and a half ago.
Well, the Gardner Racing team's starting to come along, but for the level 1 motor mount, that could have been a top 3 or 4 car.
Race number 10, rounding third and headed for home, the undefeated Banshee.
Oh, versus Cherry Pie.
Oh, God, I can't even watch this execution.
Ready?
Don't even look. Oh, Cherry Pie doesn't even make it to the 300-foot mark.
But Banshee made a screaming pass.
And that brings us to the last race of the last round of this 3-month competition.
The Mach 5 versus Scare Marrow.
Come on, Speed, we need one more race.
The Mach 5 makes his fastest pass of the night and remains undefeated. And my little GT gets 23 points for drawing the bye in the last round.
And here are your final scores for the competition.
And here are your scores in order.
So that brings us to the tiebreaker round. And just to keep it interesting, we'll keep the battle for first and second place for dead last.
So first, we're going to take care of the 3-way tie for 7th place. Scare Marrow, GT and Blue Bayou drew straws, and Blue Bayou will be racing Scare Marrow for 7th. And the loser will race GT for 8th and 9th.
Up first, Blue Bayou versus Scare Marrow.
Blue Bayou takes 7th place clean, and that leaves Scare Marrow to race GT for 8th and 9th. And GT makes her best pass she made for me all day.
That settles 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we have a tie at 10th, Tyrant and Mini-Me. And the winner will be the only top 10 car with a double-digit score.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3. Driver.
From the sounds of Annette, I don't think it was Mini-Me.
Oh, Tyrant took it by half a car. Next up is Orange Crush and SOT for the 13th and 14th spot.
Camera 3. Yep.
Did you lose power?
Yes, then got all squirrely on me, and that knocked my braids out of line, and then I lost power for a second.
Yeah, there ain't no catching SOT after that.
Next up, a race for 21st and 22nd between Grape Gas and Judas.
Rolling.
Ready.
That gives Judas the 20th and Grape Gas the 21st spot.
When we were scoring the race, a couple of small mathematical errors were made, and we were able to correct them while we were editing. And the only tiebreaker it had any effect on was it created a tie between Tazinator and Harry Olds for the 5th and 6th spots. We'll have them race off at the beginning of our next race day for the Experimental Pro Mod division.
That brings us to our championship race between our two only undefeated cars in the underground. Banshee and the Mach 5 both have 132 points.
Banshee is a Pontiac concept car from Team Motown.
And this Mach 5 tribute car is owned and operated by Tony Mullet. Here we go, folks. Hold on to your britches. Mach 5 got the early lead. That looks like the bewilderment of victory and the agony of defeat. What was that look on your face for?
That astonished look on my face is because I couldn't believe I just beat Banshee.
Well, you almost didn't. There was less than half a car left when you hit the finish line.
And that gives us as finished a leaderboard as we can make right now.
The Mach 5 is our only undefeated car in the series and took first place.
Dark Phoenix is in sole possession of 3rd and Hall & Oates in 4th.
The Tazinator and the Harry Olds are tied at 5th place and will be determining their position at our next Pro Mod race day.
Blue Bayou comes in at 7th, GT at 8th, Scaramaro at 9th, and Tyrant rounding out the top 10.
Mini-Me, Tyrant, Ghost, SOT, and Orange Crush all came within one win from ending up in the top 10.
And everybody from 15 down to 23, it's time to go back to the drawing board and test.
Now let's go to the winner's circle for the trophy presentation.
It is my pleasure to give the trophy to Tony Mullet and the Mach 5 for the 2024 Underground Championship.
Woo! And here's what that beautiful trophy looks like up close. And here's our 2024 Experimental Pro Mod Division Top 10 list.
Nah, sort of, once we get 5th and 6th straightened out.
Well, what's going to be coming up next for Slot Rods?
Well, first we have a new episode of Back to the Streets coming out, and then we're going to have our Season 4 finale with our semi-annual Jump the Delta Gorge race.
That will be the most spectacular jump race we had yet.
If everything goes as planned, it will be something no one will ever forget.
Does that mean we're going to have to wait till Season 5 to find out who has the 5th and 6th spot in the EPM Top 10?
Looks that way.
Only on Slot Rods.
And no place else. So, till next time, everybody, I'm Tony Molick.
And I'm Randy Silvas.
And thank you for watching Slot Rods.
Straight from the underground. Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the Living my life underneath the ground. Old school, old school. I'm blowing up like you thought I would.
Ladies first.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollett.
As you can tell from Brian Kane dropping the first dad joke of the night, you are tuned into Slot Rods.
Welcome to the 3rd annual Slot Rods Underground.
The Underground is a 3-night points chase, and it will determine the top 10 in the EPM division for 2025. Each night will be 3 rounds of racing, and each night the potential for points will increase.
And there's three for Tony. Let me make sure I don't have any doubles. Let me make sure Tony doesn't have any doubles.
Right now, you see the contestants drawing cards to determine the races for the first round.
You're driving the Batmobile. Let's flip them.
And once each one of the cars has a card sitting on its hood, the cards are flipped over.
Mark Rendos is going to be our official scorekeeper. And before we get ready to race, we might as well show you the 2023 Underground Champion, the GTO called Vengeance, which belongs to Jake Rendos from Team Motime.
And the 2024 Underground Champion, the Mach 5, owned by Tony Mullen.
And here are the points our would-be champions will be chasing tonight.
You will get 2 points for crossing start, 1 point for crossing finish in your own lane, 4 points for a win. But you can cancel all that out with a big disqualification that gives you a big fat 0 for the round.
You cannot cross center. You cannot go early. You can't have parts fall off your car as it's going down the track. And as long as you are on the tabletop and don't cross center, we'll call crossing the finish line legal. And here are the 26 cars that will be competing this year.
And here are your first 2 contestants for the evening. We showed you the Mach 5. Well, here's Speed's older brother Rex, aka Racer X, in the number 9 Shooting Star.
Versus Randy and his brand new build, the 1962 Pontiac Catalina 421 Super Duty, called Large Marge.
Looks like we're starting the evening out with a drag race.
Looks like Marge is coming around to camera 2.
And I put the spread on that Shooting Star.
And that gives Large Marge 7 points for the round, and the Shooting Star gets 3.
Shooting Star got 2 points for crossing the starting line and 1 point for crossing the finish.
And Marge got that same amount plus the 4 for the win.
So as you can see, every point is precious.
Up next, Annette Kane and the Harry Olds versus Mark Rendos in the Chevy 2 called Scooter.
Another great drag race.
They left at the same time, but Scooter just walked away. Took that win by 2 car lengths.
Giving Scooter 7 and the Harry Olds 3.
Now you're going to see a lot of repetition in the scoring tonight. But by the time we finish, you'll see how it starts to split up.
And next time, whenever we increase the points, that's when you're going to see a lot more diverse scoring.
Pulling up to the start, Randy and his Ford GT versus the Kane Racing Team's Nova 2 called Killer Nova.
And the Nova gets a jump, and I just could not chase her down. That gives my GT 3, and Killer Nova gets 7.
Up next, the Buick called Opal versus the AMC Gremlin called Gizmo.
Number 3. Yep.
Gizmo hesitated a little bit at the line, and the Opal has a good A to B pass. Securing the win and the 7 points, and Gizmo gets 3.
Our next two racers are the Chevy truck called Blue Bayou versus Gale's Vet.
They left together, but Gale's Vet pulled away at about mid-track and managed to take the win by 2 car lengths.
Giving Blue Bayou 3 and Gale's Vet 7.
Up next, a couple of Corvettes. Tony in his 1976 Stingray called the OG Batmobile versus the banana yellow gasser called Salsa Verde. Now that's a drag race.
Batmobile got out first, but Salsa Verde started coming around by camera 2.
You caught the light at the same time.
But Salsa Verde managed to push out ahead and won by half a car.
Giving the Batmobile 3 and Salsa Verde 7.
Up next, the Mach 5 versus the Ghost of Vengeance.
And another great start. The Mach 5 isn't exactly running like days of yore, is it?
Well, once upon a time, for about a week, the way the Mach 5 ran was actually considered fast.
Yeah, fast enough to be number 1. And that was just 9 short months ago.
Things change fast in the slot rod universe.
No pun intended.
Speak for yourself. I intend every pun.
That win gives Ghost of Vengeance 7, and the Mach 5 gets 3.
Next up, the GTX called Chameleon versus the 1969 Chevy called Nacho Camaro.
Ready.
And the Chameleon immediately puts about a 4-car lead on the Camaro. Chameleon cut a perfect light and was gone before the Camaro even flinched.
But here comes that Camaro on the big end. He even manages to gap the Chameleon.
That gives Chameleon 3 and the Nacho Camaro a hard-earned 7.
Rolling up to the starting line, we have the El Camino funny car called Son of Troublemaker versus the blown 65 Chevy 2 called Orange Crush.
Yep.
Yep.
Orange Crush took off like a dart, and I think there's something wrong with SOT.
Brian has plenty of time to get it figured out before the next round. SOT gets 3 and Orange Crush gets 7.
Up next, the Cooper called Mini-Me versus the Big Bad Willis called Gone Green.
Good clean start, but Mini-Me's experience shows as it coasts to a win, while Gone Green is left to figure out what went wrong.
Giving Mini-Me 7 and Gone Green 3.
Up next, a couple of cars from the Street Outlaws universe. Disco Dean in the Chevelle called Stinky Pinky
versus Kai Kelly in Jangalang.
They got off the line pretty good, but Jangalang lost power.
Giving Jangalang 2 points for crossing start and giving Stinky Pinky the 7-point win.
Up next, the Coca-Cola Volkswagen called Bee-Wee versus the 1966 Ford Fairlane called Black and Blue.
They left together, but Bee-Wee was on a mission.
I tried making up the distance, but I just couldn't catch up with that little shit.
Giving Pee-wee 7 points on his first race in the WPSRA, and Black and Blue takes 3.
Up next, Big Daddy and his 68 Chevelle called Gray Ghost versus Alexis in the GRX.
Oh, GRX was sleeping. And the Gray Ghost managed to outrun her to the finish line.
Giving Gray Ghost 7 and GRX 3 to finish out the first round.
Moving on to round 2 of this 3-round evening, they managed to draw each other again. The rematch of the 2 no prep kings, Stinky Pinky versus Jangalang.
Jangalang seems to cure what ailed him. Matter of fact, he takes the lead and doesn't give it back.
Essentially canceling out each other's efforts, giving Jangalang 7 and Stinky Pinky gets 3.
Not quite. Jangalang only got 2 last round, which means he's 1 point behind Stinky Pinky.
1 point can mean everything on night 3.
Up next, we got Randy and his Ford GT versus Alexis and her Nacho Camaro.
Drivers ready?
Was I sleeping?
I don't know. Let's take another look.
I wasn't sleeping.
No. Alexis got that Camaro launching.
Nacho Camaro gets 7, and my GT gets his second 3 for the evening.
Rolling up to the starting line, yet another couple of 412 cars. Chameleon versus Blue Bayou.
Brian and Annette Kane draw one another so often, you'd swear they were doing it on purpose.
Well, they ain't, because in a competition that serves no purpose, other than to weed out your own cars.
Now there's another drag race.
Neck and neck at camera 2.
And neck and neck at the finish line as well.
GTX left the line first, but Blue Bayou started coming around his fender at camera 2.
And that fender was all he got, and he hung on to it to the finish. And that's enough to get him the win and the 7 points.
Up next, Large Marge versus GRX.
Marge leads the line first.
Yeah, Marge had a decent lead going, but the GRX started to come around fast about camera 2. And right before the finish line, managed to take Marge by a fender.
Giving Marge her first loss of the night, and the GRX gets its first win.
Up next, we got SOT versus Black and Blue.
And SOT was sleeping on the line.
And Black and Blue has one of his better passes and hangs on for the win.
Giving Black and Blue his first win of the evening, and SOT his second loss.
If the past couple of years have been an indicator, you really can't lose races. But night 1 is your only opportunity to do so and still have a shot at this thing.
Next up to the line, Gizmo versus Ghost of Vengeance.
I don't know, that name just doesn't roll off the tongue. I think I'm going to have to start calling this thing Ghost Vengeance.
I think that sounds better anyway, because how could Vengeance have a ghost if he's not dead?
Yeah, he ain't dead, he's just not here.
Gizmo gets off the line first this time and is off to the quick lead.
But that GTO started to come around on the big end and managed to take the win.
Our next two contestants will be the Shooting Star versus the OG Batmobile.
Camera 3. Yep.
Batmobile gets the jump.
Yeah, no he didn't. He come off the line second, but he beat Shooting Star to the 60-foot mark.
But after that, it was all Shooting Star, all the way to the finish line.
Leaving the Batmobile still searching for that first elusive win. And Shooting Star gets his first win of the night.
Rolling up to the starting line now, we got Mini-Me versus the Mach 5.
Camera 3. Yep.
The Mach 5 seems to be running a little bit quicker this time.
Yeah, he definitely grabbed asphalt first and managed to take the win.
Giving the Mach 5 his first 7 of the night, and Mini-Me her first 3.
Next up, the Buick Opal versus the Harry Olds.
Camera 3. Yep.
Yeah, the Opal didn't do nearly as well as the last round. And Harry Olds made an A to B pass and takes the win.
Giving Harry his first 7 of the night and the Opal his first loss.
Up next, Going Green versus B-Weed. Woo, B-Weed takes off like a bullet.
You can see here, Gone Green's rear end twists back and forth before it took off, and there was no way of catching that Volkswagen.
Giving B-Wee his second win of the night, and Going Green his second loss.
Next up, the Battle of the Chevy 2s, the Killer Nova versus Scooter.
Good.
Killer Nova cuts one hell of a light, and Scooter managed to hesitate for whatever reason. And Killer Nova takes it walking away.
Let's double check that again to make sure. Well, that didn't really help. Let's take an even closer look, frame by frame. All right, frame 1, Killer Nova's not moving and the light is off. Frame 2, the light is on and Killer Nova is cracking the tires. And frame 3, Killer Nova gets a bumper out on Scooter.
That looks like a clean start, and there's no visual evidence to change that decision.
That gives Killer Nova his second 7 of the night and Scooter his first 3.
Pulling up to the starting line, we got the Gray Ghost versus Orange Crush.
Orange Crush steals the hit and is still ahead at camera 2.
But here comes that Gray Ghost creeping in on the big end. And takes the win by the length of the car.
Giving the Gray Ghost his second win of the night, and Orange Crush takes his first loss.
Which brings us to our last race of the round. The Battle of the Vets. Salsa Verde versus Gale's Vet.
Good start, but that C3 just did not have enough to catch up to Salsa Verde.
Giving Salsa Verde 7 and Gale's Vet her first loss.
Which brings us to our third and final round of the evening.
Up first, we got Stinky Pinky versus Scooter.
Yep.
Scooter gets out first. And Pinky just cannot make up the difference and ends with a fireworks display underneath his front end.
Well, that's a win for Scooter and a loss for Pinky, giving Scooter a total of 17 for the evening, and Pinky gets 13.
Here's two cars who really need a win. Gale's Vet versus the Harry Olds.
I think Gale's Vet jumped.
Oh yeah, Gale's Vet left town way early, giving Harry Olds his second win, and Gale's Vet gets a big goose egg for the round.
Totaling Harry Olds at 17 and Gale's Vet at 10.
Our next two contestants will be Orange Crush versus Mini Me.
Orange Crush gets a great start, and Mini Me hesitated. And that 1965 Chevy 2 hangs on for the win.
Orange Crush cut a decent light, but wasn't nothing to write home about. It just means Mini Me got off the line even slower.
Orange Crush gets his second win, and Mini Me her second loss.
Giving Orange Crush 17 for the evening and Mini Me 13.
Up next, Salsa Verde versus Black and Blue.
Salsa Verde got the jump, and Salsa Verde got the win.
Giving Salsa Verde a perfect score for the evening, and Black and Blue 2 losses.
Well, that means Salsa Verde gets a 21 for the evening, and Black and Blue only 13.
Up next, Large Marge versus Gone Green.
Gone Green did the shimmy on the starting line again.
But Marge stuck the tire so hard she came right up out of the slot.
Giving Gone Green his first win of the evening, and Marge gets 2 points for the round.
Giving Marge 12 points for the evening, and Gone Green 13.
Next up, the battle of the subcompacts. Hannah Holzer and Gizmo versus Annette Kane and Bee-Wee.
Gizmo gets off the line first this time, and Bee-Wee was the one to hesitate.
And that puts 7 on the board for Gizmo, and Bee-Wee gets her first 3 of the evening.
Giving Bee-Wee 17 and Gizmo 13. Up next to the starting line, we have the GT versus SOT.
GT was out first by a mile, and he hangs on for the win.
giving GT a much needed win. That keeps him in the running with 13 points.
And SOT closes out the evening with 9.
Up next, Jangalang versus Ghost Vengeance.
Looks like Jangalang spun. He hit the throttle and just sat there and fishtailed.
Giving Ghost Vengeance 21 and Jangalang 12.
Next up on the starting block, Blue Bayou versus Nacho Camaro.
Rolling.
Blue Bayou was a little slow off the line, and that was all it took for Nacho to get the win.
Giving Nacho Camaro 21 for the evening and Blue Bayou 13.
Up next, the Battle of the Green Machines. Killer Nova versus Opal.
Camera 2. Camera 3. Yep.
Opal got out first, but here comes that Killer Nova. And Killer Nova takes it on the big end.
Giving Killer Nova a perfect score of 21 for the night, and Opal gets 13.
Round and third and headed for home, we got the Mach 5 versus Gray Ghost.
Camera 3. Yep.
That right there's a good drag race.
They left together. That Gray Ghost looks like got a broken shock in the rear.
Yeah, but it didn't slow him down. He overtook the Mach 5 about mid-track and took the win.
Giving the Mach 5 13 points and the Gray Ghost a perfect score of 21.
Up next, we got the Shooting Star versus the OG Batmobile. That may be the best picture of the Batmobile I think I've ever seen.
Camera 2. Camera 3. Yep.
And the Batmobile finally makes a decent pass.
But Shooting Star gets all squirrely and managed to cross the finish line without crossing center.
Ooh, however, it did cause him to take a heck of a hit trying to get into the catch bin.
Giving the Batmobile and Shooting Star a total of 13 points for the night.
Which brings us to our last race of the evening, the GTX called Chameleon versus the GRX.
Chameleon got off the line as fast as he could, but just could not cover the GRX.
Giving the GRX a total of 17 and the Chameleon a 9 for the night.
So here are your totals for the evening. And if we were to stack them in order, it would look something like this.
We have 5 cars with perfect scores, and everybody from the Harry Olds to the GRX is going to be trying their absolute best and hoping that all 5 of those cars lose at least one race in the next 2 nights.
And the rest of the pack will be trying to fight just to get into the top 10.
Next time on Slot Rods, we'll have 3 rounds of racing from the second night of competition, where the potential for points will be going up.
And that's where you're going to see the scores start to drastically change, and the list will begin to take shape.
And since the points will be higher, it will give some of the cars lower on the list a chance to make up some distance. And you better believe everyone's going to be gunning for those top 5 cars.
So until next time, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mollick.
And you've been watching Slot Rods.
The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. screaming aloud, yo, you just get a glance. Don't try to swim game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch a soul flow from a distance, but give us some bass on, let the girl dance.
Now that's a drag race.